stars rise. Hey there, you shameless fucking creature. Old man with the dead cop eyes. Prophesize like a doomsday preacher. Antagonize and monetize. Old man, you're changing hearts and minds. You're changing hearts and minds. You're changing hearts and minds. If I was a cynical man, I might say, con man feeds the flames. Mask off, no surprise. Snake oil lubricates the outrage. Force the narrative to fit the frame. Millions of suckers and there's a new one every minute. Grand wizard of the grift. Go on, old man, and get it. Go on, old man, and get it. Hey there, you shameless fucking creature. Old man with the dead caught eyes. Prophesize like a doomsday preacher. Antagonize and monetize. Old man, you're changing hearts and minds. You're changing hearts and minds. And the hearts all turn to stone. And their minds are running on the vine.
Welcome to every video we make. We use one little thing and then we build the narrative out of. Don't act like that's not. That's America. That's Canada. It's fucking hilarious. It's fucking hilarious. Their engagement crack.
Old man, you're changing hearts and minds.
Welcome to every video we make. We use one little thing and then we build the narrative out of it. Brie Larson says one fucking thing and we make a whole video out of it. That's what we do.
Words are flowing out like woke Mary Sue objective truth. They don't mean much, but nothing ever does across the grift of a
All right, you assholes.
You can pick up the softback trade paper.
The what now?
How do you do, fellow kids?
The f***ing what? The fucking what? The fucking who? This guy.
The softback, trade paper.
Right. Man, if I was a real fan, I would remember that, but I'm just not. So, you know, man. Are we losing Warner Brothers? Warner Brothers losing? Are we losing DC still? What's happening, man? Maybe feel better here.
I don't know. I think they're going to sell pieces of it off. I think that's what's going to happen. I don't think anybody's going to buy it. It's worth too much. Well, they got $35 billion in debt, so you'd have to buy the $35 billion in debt, and then you'd have to give them the value they want to, and nobody's hitting it. I think Paramount gave them, I think it was like $27 billion was the offer, but then they'd have to pay to offload that because that's less than the debt they owe from the purchase of Warner Brothers. So
they should, they're not going to do this, of course, but like it'd be funny if they just like let it go, let like DC characters like Batman and Superman go public domain, and then sold. But
I was thinking earlier today because I've thought a lot about it. I mean, they will probably, the most likely scenario, the way for them to make the most money is to just sell IP blocks off. So like a company wants all of DC, they'll buy DC. A company wants all of Dune or something like, I don't know, whatever they're selling, like they could sell it off in blocks. I think that's what's going to happen Because I mean, right now there's only a handful of companies that could afford to buy them with the debt. Netflix is not interested, so it's definitely not going to Netflix. Ted Sarandos has said in 3 different interviews that he's not interested in buying Warner Brothers. Paramount wants it, but they're not offering enough. Apple and Amazon and Disney are the only 3 companies that have the actual value to buy it. And I don't see the FCC approving a Disney buy, so that's not going to happen. Apple probably doesn't want to get involved with legacy media, if I had to guess. Amazon, potentially. I know some people say they want Sony to buy it because Sony is better for the theatrical release windows, but I don't know. I think we're going to see it sold off piece by piece. I think that's the most likely situation.
Probably so. I know that like when it comes to just like the stuff that we're more focused on, which is like the DC characters and stuff, Warner Brothers Discovery, that's such a massive conglomerate.
Yeah.
That like when they look at the list of their revenue streams, that DC is like so far at the bottom. Like that's
the other thing is that I was looking at the numbers this past year. Well, we're still in this year, but like the big movie bump in the summer, Warner Brothers was number 1. Disney was number 2 by a hair, but they were still number 2. Everyone else is down at the bottom. No one's even close. Universal, Paramount, Sony, none of them are close. It's always been Warner Brothers and Disney. So with Warner Brothers goes away as an entity and they sell off bits and pieces of the company, Disney will be the undisputed king of theaters. Like whether you like that or not, I don't think it's good. I don't think it's good for the ecosystem to have one company.
No, absolutely not. I mean, it's already bad enough, honestly. But like, why are they doing this? What's the point?
I mean, I think they've been prepping it for a while, which is why we saw a lot of stuff getting shelved and tossed away early on. I think David Zaslav's entire purpose of being there was to do this, because if you remember, maybe you don't, I know I talked about it, but I don't know if we talked about it. Earlier this year, the end of last year, they started talking about splitting them back up again. They kept saying, we're going to split Warner Brothers and Discovery back up again. We're not going to do it as one thing, and they're going to be separate. And it didn't make a lot of sense then, because I'm like, why would they do that? Well, they're doing it because I don't think they want to sell anything Discovery related. They want to sell off the Warner Brothers stuff. They want to offload the Warner Brothers stuff. So, and Sketchy's, that's true. They've also got HBO, Cartoon Network, all that stuff. I don't think they're selling Discovery though. I think they want to keep Discovery. I've seen no mention of Discovery in any of the discussions about sales. It's all been Warner Brothers. So
but I mean, I guess I still don't understand the reason to do it. Is it because they've been so successful that they want to? I don't know.
Because I think they purchased it hoping that they could create a giant mega entertainment hub.
Oh,
because that's what they were trying to do when they merged it with Discovery. But the viewers of Discovery content weren't watching HBO stuff. Right. And HBO people weren't watching Discovery stuff. It was a bad,
that'd be like reality shows and shit like that, right?
Well, from the beginning, people were like, what does Discovery have in common with HBO? Like nothing. There's nothing in common from these two companies. So it didn't make a lot of sense for them to be together in the first place. And David Zaslav isn't a movie guy. He's a TV guy.
Right. I remember that.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's been the issue all along, is the downfall of Warner Brothers where they are right now, even with the success they've had, has not been because of David Zaslav. He's been a detrimental effect on the company from a creative standpoint.
I remember it just seems like since 2020, at least, that I've been paying attention, that nearly every decision they've made has been just a boneheaded one that like me, who's, I don't understand fucking, finance or anything on this level, still think it's like a boneheaded decision. It turns out to be pretty stupid. Like, the whole rebranding first they got rid of HBO Max as the app. Yeah, and they just said it's going to be what was it, just HBO whatever? No,
just Max, which made no sense because Cinemax was a brand that people remembered. So calling it Max was dumb. HBO was the important part of it. So,
and I had a lot of hope for HBO Max at first, because they were one of the, like, early on, whenever the streamers started coming out, with their original content, they had a lot of really cool stuff that I liked.
Mm-hmm. They still have really good shows. I think the issue is that if you look back, and I've read several people talking about this, and it slipped my mind. I didn't even think about this, but like changing it from HBO Max to Max, having that fail, and then going back to HBO, and splitting Warner Brothers and Discovery up as two separate services, the writing should have been on the wall at that point that they were going to sell it. It just, like, looking back at that, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. They want to sell the HBO brand. They want to sell the HBO Max app and the streaming service. They want to get rid of those things. So that's why they changed them back, because otherwise they would have kept them the same. So it's just, I feel really stupid that I didn't notice that before, but I guess that was the plan all along, was to do this, to flip it. Basically.
Well, because, as Reggie Sketchy's pointing out in chat, it's like these things don't look like they make any sense from our perspective, and they really kind of don't. But like from us, the legalese and finance perspective of at this level that they're at, I guess it makes some sense to make stupid decisions for long-term gain or something. I don't know. It seems insane.
I don't know if the Saudis seem to be interested in things that are extremely profitable, like video games, online games, sports, things like that. Warner Brothers, with the exception of this year, has not been super profitable. That's the big issue. I don't know if they see any value in that stuff, because you'd have to know how to monetize it in a way that makes sense to them. Sports betting, online mobile games with like the ability to sell loot boxes and stuff. All of those are lucrative things. I don't see how they would do that with a movie studio. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't see the value in it. I don't think they would buy it just to not do anything with it. That doesn't make sense. I think it's going to be an American company that's going to buy off bits and pieces. You know what I mean? Like, I think what's going to happen is Amazon, who already has, MGM or whatever, I think they're going to want bits and pieces of HBO. They've already got a lot of DC stuff. They've already got a lot of the more adult entertainment that Warner Brothers has produced. I think they would be very interested in it, and they do have the money to get it. Jeff Bezos has enough money. I looked it up last night on the fly, and they're worth enough money to snag all the debt and probably give a good offer on top of that if they really want it. I would much rather look. Worst case scenario would be an overseas buyer, like the Saudi government or something like that, or Netflix. That would be worst case scenario. Paramount wouldn't be great. Would still be better than the other two. Disney, they won't let Disney buy it, and that would if Disney got Warner Brothers, it's in the bag. Like, every big movie for the rest of time would be from Disney, Warner Brothers, and Fox. That would be it. You know what I mean?
What's scary is thinking that on some level Disney might consider that as like, oh well, we're seeing, we're not super confident about where the MCU is going as far as making money. So maybe we need to just go ahead and pull the trigger on this, because I said a long time ago, jokingly somewhat, that like, yeah, one day eventually, once superhero movies start doing just, every one of them is not making money and they're doing badly, they'll eventually just start putting Marvel and DC in the same movies and shit. And I didn't really think it would ever come to that, but maybe. We also have stuff like Looney Tunes, basically the entire animation division of HBO, Cartoon Network, all that stuff. There's a ton of things that they have to leverage with. Now, would Netflix be interested in buying something like Cartoon Network? Probably. Cartoon Network fits really well with the Netflix brand because it's not a theatrical driven thing. So I could see them buying something like Cartoon Network. Buying like the movie division stuff, I don't see that happening. I don't know if like Apple, I don't know if I'd want that to happen. I don't know if they would do that, Apple, but if Apple did in some universe, bye Bob, in some universe decided to do this and bought, like DC Studios or whatever, that probably wouldn't happen. But Apple puts out high quality shit. Even if it's something I don't like, even if it's something I don't care about, it's generally just like I've never seen a cheap looking Apple TV show or movie. Or movie.
I feel like I'm missing out because I haven't seen any of the Apple TV stuff, but I've only heard amazing things about it.
So we watch Apple TV shows every week. Like, I don't think there's ever been a time in the last 2 years where we haven't been watching something that's on Apple TV.
Oh my god!
To be honest, so much good stuff.
People sleeping on stuff, something like Foundation, for example.
Foundation, probably the best sci-fi TV show in the last 20 years, in my opinion.
One of them, yeah.
But there's Foundation, and then For All Mankind are the two that like.
There's also Invasion. There's also Silo. There's a ton of sci-fi on Apple TV.
Yeah. Severance for sure. Yeah, Severance, great.
Nobody talks about Severance. I don't know why.
I don't think anybody's ever seen a video about that.
Ted Lasso is another good one. Fantastic show. Apple TV is good. The thing about Apple is I don't know if Apple cares enough. That's the problem, because Apple takes a loss on production for value in company, because Apple TV as a brand doesn't turn over a lot of money per show for them. Like they spend a lot of money on their shows, but it adds value to the overall Apple company. Like they're like $1 trillion company. So
super commercially viable, like super commercially, advertisable content, right? Like it's kind of weird how that. I mean, honestly, it almost kind of, if you look at it wrong or right, looks kind of like artistic integrity, but it's really not that. It's
yeah, Apple as a company is worth $3.82 trillion. So they take losses. They take losses in their entertainment division in order to bring in new customers because they advertise their brand all over that app. I mean, it doesn't interrupt the viewing experience, but you can definitely tell it's there.
Well, maybe who knows, man? All these mergers going on, it just left and right, especially on the right.
Brand new website. Over on geeksandgamers.com, and we are merging with that Park Place. We're going to bring their editorial team over. What the vision for this website is to obviously be the entertainment hub for our sphere, but also
the entertainment hub for our sphere. So
yes, the entertainment hub for their sphere that hasn't released a video in over a month, but whatever.
Well, he's been really busy with this. Sure, not cobbled together last minute kind of sudden, desperate pivot move, right?
No, it's not desperate at all.
What's funny is that they want to be the entertainment hub, and it's like, okay, so they don't want you to watch the stuff that they're going to be talking about for sure, because then the people know that they're lying sometimes, or a lot of times. So once again, they just want you to come to them, bypass the Star Wars thing, bypass the Marvel thing. Don't watch that shit. They'll tell you what's so bad about it. They'll tell you why it's woke and bad and whatnot. And then if you see anything, if you go on a Twitter and you see somebody, or Letterbox rather, because that's what I figured out Criticless is. It's the Chud Letterbox.
Oh, I assumed it was the Chud Rotten Tomatoes.
Well, that's what Jeremy claimed it was.
Yeah,
he said it was like a Rotten Tomatoes.
Well, I'm going to assume he didn't claim it was the Chud Rotten Tomatoes.
No,
alternative Rotten Tomatoes.
Definitely not.
Quite a self-own if he did. I mean, at least he's being honest with himself.
But yeah, they literally, Geeks and Gamers has not put a video up in over a month at this point. And then as Eric showed in his video, looking at the recent lack of success of these channels, they weren't doing well for a while before that. And Griggs, just like any content creator, is going to do eventually. Like once you are seeing, like, I cannot keep my numbers up to even close to what they were, you're going to eventually just kind of lose interest and not not.
I mean, he wasn't even uploading to his D-Day Cobra channel. That hadn't had a video in like 2 or 3 months.
So. I think he does mainly just live streams because that's where he gets the money, right?
Yep.
I mean, you look at a channel like mine, I've definitely had, dips and stuff like that. But I will still do content because I do it because I like doing it. Whereas these guys just do content for clicks. If they're not getting clicks, they don't care.
It's
a difference. It's the difference.
It's I know that there's certain topics that I know that I can go to and I can get a guaranteed minimum number of views on that thing. I don't do that all the time because I feel like I would feel like I was fucking grifting, even if I was being honest with my content, what I was saying. I still feel like I was, I don't know, being weird. It's a weird feeling. But I know that there are things that I can go to, and if he can't even go to a certain topic and hit a certain number, then that's not good. But
the other thing is, and I wanted to make this very clear to everyone, the reason why it's such a big red flag for these guys is they are channels that have a team behind them. Because we're all channels that operate and function with just us doing it. Maybe we have 1 or 2 people helping with getting stuff set up for live streams or whatever. But primarily we control our channels. We run all of it. These guys have entire teams. They have thumbnail people. They have editors. They have people that go in and do designs for the channel. They have people that do dig up research for them, things like that. Anytime they're not hitting a certain financial goal, it affects the overall
not to mention
payout for the teams.
What we have with our group is we have a Discord server that we share information. We kind of
Dude, don't tell them about our secret Eric July server.
We're something's going on in the news or whatever. We'll all kind of see that or whatever we're interested in. These guys have that, but it's far more organized. I guarantee it. It's far more I'm pretty confident that the main group of Friday Night Tights guys have their own, probably encrypted chat or whatever the fuck. And they're just constantly texting updates to that chat about what they're going to cover. It's just impossible that they don't have that based on the past you know, whenever you've seen them come out with content on a certain thing, saying the exact same thing about it at the same time. You know what I mean? So they, like even their network that they've relied on, you know, their sport network and whatnot. So, by the way, so I apologize. I'm kind of out of it. I don't have a medication for fucking ADHD right now, and I'm kind of struggling. But yeah, it's just tells a lot that they're still not doing well. And yeah.
By the way, I want to point out there are also premium subscriptions for these websites now, like VIP subscriptions, like $5 a month to get extra articles from them and stuff. I don't know if you noticed that or not.
No,
Geeks and Gamers and That Park Place. They have a
of course, because it's all, you know,
tier.
It's just all about grifting, guys. It's, you know,
all they care about are the clicks, because the clicks equal money. That's it. And if they can get some sort of subscription from you, even better.
I mean, it's more like, you know, if you want to get, I mean, I'm sorry that you're introduced to that, by the way. I wish you could have stayed in whatever heavenly world you lived in before. But it's more like just honest and dishonest. Seriously. Like, and that's what it boils down to. You know, right and left, woke and anti-woke, you can't really tell a place of value on those if you're just kind of looking and going, which one's which one do I trust? I'll tell you which one. The ones that aren't saying everything is woke and bad. Basically.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't go into this being like, I'm going to go after anti-woke people because I'm woke. I didn't go into it like that. I just watched bad videos and like, well, that's false. That's bullshit. She's lying. And all of a sudden people are like, oh, you wokey. And it's like, is just saying facts woke, I guess?
Well, you know, apparently, and we're seeing that to a crazy degree just in the government at this point. And, you know, it's extended version of the same topic as it always has been. But yeah, you know, Trump fucking announcing domestic terror organizations and whatnot, and it's like, oh my god, dude, this shit is so cooked. We're so cooked, guys. But
remember when facts mattered?
Yeah,
I kind of missed that.
You know, No Kings was a big deal this weekend, though.
Yes.
They're saying the number was closer to 8 million now. So
I'm not surprised. It was a massive amount of people. Like, just, you know, I have several video clips from different, you know, cities where it happened. It's just it's crazy. The amount of people that went out was crazy. And I'm really hoping that, you know, and I've seen some somewhat valid criticism from the left of the whole thing, saying that what's the point of it? What's the goal? And it's like, well, true. There wasn't like you need demands, right? Well, the demand in this case is basically we need to come together, period. And understand that this is a problem that people need to come together on. And now that we've shown that we can do that, there needs to be more, you know, I guess, organization and things that we're demanding. And at the same time, you've got the Trump administration lying about, you know, radical left terror groups and whatnot. And that's not going to be, that's going to be awkward, to say the least. So
yeah, I do want to comment here on this comment. If you don't toe the line, you're against me, and the other side is how most convos and debates work, especially with media. It's unfortunate that you feel that way about it, because I don't think that's a proper representation of every bit of dialogue that happens. I think the issue is that people who come into a debate without the idea or the ability to take in new information and process new information puts them at a disadvantage, because that's why you should be there. You should be there to listen to ideas. But if you come in with like talking points and you're not really listening to the other person, it is going to feel this way. It is going to look this way. And I like to think there are some people that go in and want to have a genuine conversation about stuff and provide facts, opposed to just trying to get talking points. If you're talking about specifically the Chud space here on YouTube, they don't debate anybody.
Right.
These guys don't debate anyone.
We've tried.
We've tried. They don't debate anybody. Matter of fact, Bob destroyed Monetize Your Haters for Eric July to the point where he just stopped doing it altogether. So they don't debate anyone. There's no debate to be had because they're not talking to anybody. The reason why, and I'll move on after this, but the reason why that is because they establish their talking points. They know they're lying. They know they're being misleading. And anytime you see them question on it, they have no response to it. You see it on there's a couple of Piers Morgan clips where they're confronted when Gary and Will are confronted about the stuff they say, and they have literally no rebuttal to it whatsoever.
I have reached out, I have sent DMs literally directly to Jeremy Griggs before. It's been a couple of years since I did that, but like literally in the nicest way possible, proposed that we, talk about some of the stuff he was saying. I wasn't, shitty about it. Maybe he saw some of my content and I was being shitty about him then, but still, he just didn't respond,
It's funny because a couple years ago I stumbled into Ryan Cannell's email address and I sent him an email essentially inviting him to a debate, and no response.
Yeah. And hey Ryan, what's going on, man?
Sketchy, I agree. There is a big portion of the online left that just is stuck in this doomerism type shit, and I refuse to be a part of it. So
it's not helpful. That is not helpful.
It's understandable to feel a sense of doom. That is I'm not gonna propagate doom to people. Is what I'm saying. I'm not gonna.
It is healthy to disconnect, honestly, fairly often right now. But like, don't completely disconnect and don't give up. No.
Yeah,
enjoy the little wins as well.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking to what you were just saying, Eric, that's how the content creators that behave, is that they just won't, engage with it. Especially once basically Bob, ended debates in the sector.
Sorry.
But then their fans though, their fans didn't quite, because a lot of their fans actually are true believers in the shit that they pumped into them. So they think, oh well, I can do this, I can debate. And so once again, Bob has shown several times where their fans, and I've had a few with myself. They get on, they start trying to argue a point or whatever, and it just becomes clear that they have nothing. They can't defend a single thing that they say. It's pretty embarrassing. Generally, their claims are absurd. They can't back any of them up. And I think eventually they even realize, oh, we can't fucking defend this shit. Probably because Bob's some kind of like rhetorical wizard or something as the excuse they give themselves, but.
It makes sense if you think about it, because pre-digital, back when we were all using VCRs and such things, it's a copy of a copy.
Right. Yeah.
They're taking the original and they're just copying those talking points rather than having actually invested their
conclusion. Like the points that we come to are thought out. They actually have a logical framework behind them. We can explain to you how we get to this with these sets of facts that are observable facts, and we can, here's how we apply our sense of ethics to it, and here's the conclusion we come to. Whereas they're just like, our conclusion is it's woke or it's bad or whatever, your shills, and then hold on, let me try and backpedal and support that in reverse. Can't do it.
Well, I mean, I've even made it super easy. Like, I have a debate channel on my Discord. I've told people, if you want to debate me, come in, put a debate request into my channel so I can go and check out your content. And there's literally a voice channel on my Discord made specifically to debate. I've had it up for like 5 months now. There's not one request in that debate channel.
No,
not one.
That's crazy, man. I would have thought that they would have.
As I've said before, though, as you all know, I like to watch my flat Earth debunking videos and debates. Those debates over the years have gotten worse as new acolytes come on, but they're not the ones creating the talking points. They're just repeating them.
Right.
And so, generally speaking, unless you have somebody who's rhetorically quite good, they're just repeating things that they don't realize the people they're debating have already debunked using, facts and science. And so at the moment, Flat Earth is in a really weak position, because one of the things that they sort of held up as their crowning proof that the world is flat is that you can't go to Antarctica, and if you did, you wouldn't see a 24-hour sun there, basically. And then last winter, a group of flat earthers and normal people went there and saw the 24-hour sun. And so all you've got now is people trying to debunk the fact that they went there, even though they went there knowing that that would be the case, and so took a load of proof. So the problem we've got is that it's really hard to prove sort of things about media. And what you do, Eric, on your videos a lot of the time is you will argue against the things that they're saying that are factually inaccurate. So for years they've got away with talking bullshit about the budgets, but now we are fighting back against that rhetoric because a lot of it is unknown. And so anyone that says something declarative about a budget, you can fight back on.
This scientific fact that actually retains its quality. That movie only, though.
I also want to point out, it's really funny. Eric July uploaded a video yesterday and I reacted to it almost immediately. His video has like 5K views. Mine has 2. So I mean, he should be getting a lot more views than that. I just want to point that out.
That was
I
a crazy
check it
video.
out. Haven't had a chance.
I mean, he should
I'm
be,
waiting for the day when I ratio him just for the fun of it. I don't think it really means anything, but I think it would be really funny.
it will be pretty awesome if that happens.
I mean, to start the video off the way he does, and then just go off on completely a different tangent.
Yeah.
And talk about something completely unrelated to the very thing that apparently.
Yeah, I was
caused him to
confused when
make
I
the
was
video.
watching that video. I'm like, wait, we were talking about a Japanese racism, and now we've gone off into tokenism and American culture.
Yeah. And that's,
It's like, what are we doing?
Did you see some of there's some edits of that image going around too? Like, holy shit.
Oh,
dude.
yeah, with like eating chicken and all this other stuff. Yeah, it's pretty bad. So the thing is that the racism that they're experiencing from posting that just proves that they are tackling a subject that actually exists, because it's proving itself in the memes that are coming out. So they think they're being funny and they're disproving it, but they're not. They're just proving the point of the actual statements that were made. So
watching July be so proud that he doesn't tackle racism at all in ISOM is just so weird, because it's like, well, no, that's because you don't tackle anything, which is why your stories are so bland and uninspired.
I would argue any marginalized group as a lead of a comic book is tackling some sort of thing, because they're in a system where they're already the marginalized community. So even if he's not intending to do it, I think it is a statement by making your lead character a minority.
I mean, I think one of the most valid criticisms of New Trek is the fact is it doesn't tackle social topics nearly as often as older Trek used to.
True.
Like
That is
all
true.
the time.
That doesn't even have to be the focus of the story, even. Like, I was thinking the first Blade film, for example, him being black, it doesn't really play into much of the story, but it's there enough. It's woven through enough to give you some sort of emotional grounding. Plus, you have other emotional. If you've got no emotional stakes at all, then why bother writing a story? But yeah, to be proud of that fact, it's weird.
Yeah. Just like, oh yeah, there's this cool like story I could dive into because it's topical, but no.
I mean, isn't the racism tackled in the actual story itself, though, with the idea of pure blood vampires? Because he calls Blade and Uncle Tom for being a daywalker, right? So
exactly,
I feel like it's still explored, even though it's not completely connected to him being a black guy.
Yeah,
and I think that's the difference between ISOM as well, where he's clearly set up. There is a power dynamic between his superpowered beings and non-superpowered beings, and yet because that is an allegory for separating two groups of people in the real world, it's so surface level because he doesn't want to touch it. He doesn't want it to have any depth.
Well, that's what I said, is that he doesn't understand. He keeps calling it tropes. These guys call them tropes. They're not always tropes. A trope is a very specific thing, and they can't. Yeah. There's no evidence to back up the claim of it being a trope other than them saying it. Because if you would argue that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, which is something they like to say, right? Peter Parker is Spider-Man. What is it that makes Peter Parker Spider-Man outside of the suit? That would be all the things that they know about Peter Parker as a person, because otherwise it doesn't mean anything. You know what I mean? Because who cares who's behind the mask if you don't build layers to that person as a human being?
It's all literally, to them, it's just an appeal to tradition, just a general vibe of like, that's what I'm familiar with, so that's what's right. This is
like what makes Steve Rogers Captain America over Sam. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's the same reason why a lot of these guys that are might be maybe closeted guys, they just won't ever be able to admit that to themselves, because they just, the first thing they experienced was a woman. So just that has to be what it is, right? It can't be anything different. I'm not saying Eric July is in the closet. I don't know that. I don't know. Anyway,
listen. All we know is that there's some sort of strange coincidence where Grindr keeps on crashing whenever there's a group of these guys. That's true. Around.
And it didn't crash during any of the No Kings protests. So
it's interesting. It's just
right, because I mean, even though there was probably, let's be real, there's probably way more gay people at doing No Kings protests, but the fact is they were actually at the protest doing the thing that they were doing.
They might actually have healthy relationships too and stuff like that, right, instead of just being in the closet acting weird about it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Yeah, let's see what else they say here, because it is stunning to me the way that he presents this. And it's also notable, I think, that all of these other people that are on Friday Night Tights with this announcement, and nobody else is involved, right? Like, why isn't Gary lining up to be part of this obviously going to be very successful enterprise, right?
the news and information for our sphere as well. So when Az goes on a legendary rant,
can you pause for a
when
second? Quickly, I'm sorry. When he says news and information for our sphere, they're writing it. So they're not. It's not news. They're the ones that are. Their team is writing the articles. That's why the merger is a big deal. This is why when people said, "Why are you calling it propaganda?" I'm like, because if they're actually merging together for this, then their writing team are employees of Geeks and Gamers at that point.
Listen, what all they're making is just this one singular site that people can go to and hear opinions that they like repeated. You can call it like a chamber of opinions, or
you're right.
Something
Well, I mean,
like
they
that.
literally says if somebody tweets something or would review something that you don't like or whatever, then you can just go over here, and it's like literally saying if you don't like other people's perspectives, and we know you don't, you know what I mean? Like, just come here, and where your perspective will just be literally echoed in a sort of, like you're saying, like a chamber,
kind of like a chamber, yeah,
like a chamber of echoes.
Weird as well, because imagine if the news reported the news this way. Imagine if Fox News reported about something that Jesse Waters had said on his show on Fox News.
Because they want you to know the real story behind his comments, basically.
The real story behind Az's legendary rants.
Right.
When you could just watch him do the rant because it's YouTube. And it's so weird.
I don't understand it.
Also,
Eric,
sorry,
watching your video yesterday was so many times that I was like trying to. I want to do the drop so bad right now.
I don't understand it.
There were so many times it was like, oh, damn it, he doesn't understand it, Eric.
I don't get it.
Because
the internet is misrepresenting what happened to that on Geeks and Gamers.
What are you saying, Ryan? I'm sorry.
I was just, have we got to them covering their right-wing tomatoes yet?
Not yet.
Not quite yet.
Right, okay.
So when Az goes on a legendary rant, when the internet is
legendary, like in the positive sense, in their little echo chamber, but outside of that, that was a pretty fucking cringe moment for Az.
Yeah,
and it's not a coincidence that after that, Az's success just cratered as a content creator, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like he just
think about it.
He quit being on Friday Night Tights and shit.
He got a big boost of viewers and subscribers directly after that, but then it turned out that was a one-off. He couldn't sustain that, getting angry about computer games. That's what people wanted to see. They didn't care what he had to say. They wanted to see him go mad. He became Angry Dad from The Simpsons.
Yep. Oh, sorry.
Misrepresenting what happened to that rant. We're going to have an article to break it down, to tell everybody what's actually going on. When critical.
So let's see. Let's. He's talking about the pronouns rant, right? So who misrepresented it? How was anybody misrepresenting that? I'm sure maybe somebody somewhere did.
I mean, he was mad there was pronouns on a character select screen. How do you misrepresent that? Like that's what it was.
And well, that's the thing. So what they really are saying there is people are providing context to something that we didn't want you to think about this with that context in mind, because that makes us look like we're lying or we're dishonest.
Yeah.
And so that's what it is. They want to create a sort of.
They want to reinforce the narrative is what they want to do.
Plus, that's assuming that he does go on another rant when he's only done it once.
Well, now he has an incentive to do it because they have a propaganda site. So who knows? He'll probably find another reason to do it.
And that was also over a year ago.
2 years. 2 years ago.
2 years now.
Just a 2-year video. Like,
drinker makes a viral tweet. We're going to write an article about it. When Ryan says something controversial, we're going to.
Tweet. That wasn't a viral tweet because they were looking at views. Nobody.
But also,
that's not
I mean,
real quick, negative script, guys. I'm out.
This Ryan Cannell thing was from like 5 years ago.
It was from the Batman, but
that came out like almost 5 years ago, right? Like 4 years ago.
To translate, he's saying when Ryan says something controversial, he means when Ryan complains about black people.
Right. When he says something racist, we're gonna fight back against it.
We're gonna
Don't-
explain how
but
it's
don't-
not racist.
But don't call us racist.
Yeah.
Don't call us racist, though.
Not be able to defend it, but we're gonna stand with him. When we have meetup,
Anybody that's not aware, I don't know if I've told you guys this or shown the video. Maybe I have once, but like it is a generally accepted thing amongst their group that Ryan is the truly vile bigot among them.
Right.
Like, I mean, they all are.
But I think they're pretty accurate on that. I think Ryan and maybe Az are the worst two out of all of them, if I had to guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think that with Az, his is more probably like in the I guess in the LGBTQ hatred.
And Ryan is the race one. Yeah,
Ryan is just like, yeah, and the jokes they joke about it, but like I think they're serious. There's a video clip that I have somewhere. The reason I don't pull it up and show it is because there's one part where there's like a really loud, fucking just way over loud thing that happens, and I'm not sure when it is, and I wouldn't want to fuck everybody's ears up. But it's like them. I think it was from some member stream or something like that, kind of not completely public stream, and they're talking about Obama or something like that, and it's just the joke is for several minutes that Ryan is like the racist one who wants to say the N-word all the time.
He says it anyway. I mean, I'm not. Let's be clear here. Ryan Cannell, I would put money on it, has said the N-word on behind the scenes or maybe even on camera before. I truly believe that. Out of all of them, if you were to say like which one says the N-word, like if you had to put money on it, I would say Ryan Cannell.
I mean, honestly, I think you're safe money on most of them, but yeah. Ryan Cannell.
I tried to do a Disparu reaction video the other day, but I have to find something else from him. It's kind of lame. Yeah, it's like a lame video.
From what I've seen anyway, the one video I watched of his where it's like he thinks he's a comedian. He like literally thinks he's a comedy writer or something. So like every couple of seconds he's trying to say something while he's watching a video or reading or reacting to an article, whatever it is that he thinks is hilarious.
Yeah, and he should see a dentist. I hear they're
yes.
I'm just saying it's a wellness check thing. It's not. I'm not trying to shame him for his looks. Just I'm worried.
They all literally have the impasse.
Yeah, I think Disparu needs to get some help with his mouth. I'm concerned.
In so many ways. In so many
probably always came up with him for him. He looks like a Tommy Trashwater.
Looks like he's been eating tailpipes, but it's okay. I mean, it's just I'm not trying to shade.
When there are things going on, geeksandgamers.com is going to be the place where you have all of your information right there. And
so Geeks and Kids, a who's who of who? Right. Yeah. I mean,
I still don't understand this because isn't this what Geeks and Gamers already do?
Yeah.
Isn't everything you've said stuff they already do?
They aren't teamed up with other websites.
You want me to tell you guys what happened? They had to fire their whole editorial team, and this merger was because they wanted to save money. I mean, that's pretty obvious what they did. They had a bunch of people writing articles for geeksandgamers.com. They couldn't afford to pay for them anymore. That Park Place isn't seeing a lot of money, so they decided, hey, we just should merge the two together. It's that simple. They're saving money. They fired a bunch of people that wrote for them. I guarantee you won't see any of the people that wrote articles previously writing for Geeks and Gamers anymore.
That Park Place is the attempt to start over again that John F. Trent had to do once we at the initiative kind of just covered bounding into comics a little bit too much, a little bit too well. I believe that. And
now JDA's fighting with them and fighting with like the old bounding into comics. There's like a bunch of infighting on which one of these shitty websites is the best shitty website. It's pretty much what it is.
Yes, I described. We're going to talk about Cosmic Book News. Speaking of shitty websites, we haven't talked about him enough. Him a little bit. That guy, he's I described him as if John De La Rose and John F. Trent had a butt baby and rejected it.
Oh, right.
So,
I just think with all these attempts to try and make money now that things are falling apart from, they're really missing the most obvious opportunity, which is to hire out Ryan Cannell as a billboard. I mean, think of the advertising space there. That is premium.
But you'd have to cover up the bottom part because nobody wants to look at that shit. Yeah, I mean, so and the other thing, the unspoken thing, I suppose, about what they're doing here is it lines up with what the right is doing generally, whether you're talking about the Ripaverse or whatever it is. They have just been constantly trying to create their own, their own reality, essentially their own, like don't be a patron to anything that is going to provide any kind of context or truth or balance, that's all just far radical left stuff to them.
Right.
Creating literally echo chambers, just their own little siloed piece of reality that they want people to
I mean, that screams success to me, that they have to create their own echo chamber because none of the other outlets out there are now anti-woke. Because they kept saying that they won. Well, how did you win? Or I mean, did Deadline, Variety, Hollywood Reporter, they all just start, towing the line for you guys? Oh, wait, no, they didn't. They didn't start doing that. So I guess they have to create their own space now.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of, actually, I've got an image here that speaks to this point.
You might call it a safe space.
Yes. Yeah.
So they're constantly, crapping on like, Rotten Tomatoes or whatever, because they apparently don't understand how it works, for one thing. But then when it's convenient, Critical Drinker will totally use it, to make some point that he thinks is, relevant. It's like they actually rank. So this is just, does he not understand? Is he this stupid, really? Or is he, I don't know. They actually rank Prey and Killer of Killers. There
is no they in Rotten Tomatoes. It's an aggregate site.
Yeah,
it's an aggregate site. That's all it is. And what that probably shows more than anything is that more people have rated those than, or maybe that more people like animation or something like that. That it doesn't mean anything. I don't know. It feels
they does heavy lifting for these guys. That is that word has been used and overused by these guys so much recently.
Which is
because
weird, they don't
break it down for
use it as their singular pronoun, but they want to use it
right
to everybody.
Right, exactly. But for anybody here that doesn't understand, Rotten Tomatoes doesn't create scores. That's not what it does. Rotten Tomatoes takes scores that critics submit and then aggregates all of that into a percentage that they use for their tomato meter. So essentially, it's a group tank of people who probably have no contact with each other, scoring independently, that end up getting put into like a number. So there is no concerted effort to do anything because these are all individual journalists.
You think about it in those terms, that really just means that they're calling reality how reality ends up, how things end up becoming, based on how the system is. They don't like it, so that's going to be they to them. And this right here, yeah, man, I watched that video. Holy shit! The only thing is that weird AI video that he was looking at only had like 164 views, and I kind of felt that was weird for him to cover that, but it was pretty cringe and awful and just bizarre.
How did he even find the video like that? I've watched actual Jake stuff. Like
it was weird, man. And then like the thing was that it's the guy that was running the channel and pretending that he was there with his girlfriend, who's actually an AI thing. It's bizarre. He was like saying he was, first you're like, oh, it's just a chud, because he's like talking about the commies and the wokies. And then he's like, but also the MAGAs and the, he's like everybody, essentially anybody that's part of some, group online or whatever, he's referring to them as the bad guy. And it's really bizarre trying to understand where he's coming from. But I mean, yeah, which honestly tells me the guy's probably not too well. And I kind of disagree with covering a channel of that size like that. But
yeah.
Anyway.
But the other thing about this, which people need to know, is that because Rotten Tomatoes is a internet site, it means that any films rated pre-internet, they're coming from archives of newspapers.
Yeah.
And so you have to look at when they were reviewed, the time that they were reviewed. And at the time that they were reviewed, Predator probably wasn't looked at as being a good film. The fact is that it was probably what these guys would have called a flop back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Had that film come out to the reception it received now, they'd be all looking for how woke it is, because it's got a multi-ethnic cast,
right?
And because the big tough guys don't actually win, that sort of thing.
And it's related to something political. I mean, it's about a war that's going on.
Yeah. And it's allegorical for the Vietnam War as well, in huge ways.
So it hits all the boxes they would call woke, essentially.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, and anything basically pre-2000, maybe even pre-2005, the number of reviews and the type of reviews that films got is way different to the landscape now.
So another thing this of note here, notice how he's saying that nobody takes review sites like Rotten Tomatoes seriously anymore, and yet the literal scores that he's showing are based on people who take it seriously and use it.
Right.
They're great things. So
he is taking it seriously. Yeah.
He calls Rotten Tomato. This is so tough. Can't we just come together and agree on a pronunciation? I'll use the American as much as I can. Rotten Tomatoes is not a review site. Like he said, it's an aggregate site. It's not a review site.
Yep.
Yeah. If you want to see the reviews, you can click on the person's name that you want to look at and go read the review of it.
If you want to disagree with reviews, just click a couple of times, find a review you disagree with. At least that would be engaging with it.
I would look, Dane. I totally agree with you. If they wanted to go to Rotten Tomatoes and pick a review that they were like, "Oh, this is an awful review," and make a video on that, okay, fair enough. But that's not what they're doing. They're doing the laziest thing possible, which is just looking at the aggregated number and complaining about it.
Yep. All right.
It's true. Critical Drinker didn't even
about
watch a
this
season.
with-
He did his review of it entirely based on what the scores were on Rotten Tomatoes.
Mm-hmm.
The audience scores.
Hold on, I have a theory here. I want to look at something real quick. Oh yeah, that's going to be why.
So real quick to break down how this geeks and gamers thing's going to work. So essentially, somebody's going to say something. Geeks and gamers will write an article about it. Other people will do videos on it. If one of those videos gets viral, Geeks and Gamers will do an article on it, or that Park Place will do an article on it. Then they'll do videos on those articles, and it'll just be this whole system. And kind of to break this down a bit here, here's a good analogy for how this is going to actually work.
As you can see here, there's a consumer in the first world entering McDonald's and consuming a hamburger.
Mm-hmm.
And afterward, this is a process we're all familiar with. I don't need to explain it to anyone. But you see, it's rendered out in this style because studies have shown that consumers are most responsive to 3D animation right now, particularly in developing cultures. So as you can see, it goes through a piping system, and this isn't unusual. We do this for oil. We could do this for food as well. And as you can see, it goes back up through the plumbing and emerges in a McDonald's. Now, the part of this video that isn't completed yet is the filtering process. There will be a very well-rendered filtering And as you can see, that might answer somebody's question from before, but at the McDonald's in a developing country, and in fact in this country as well, you would be able to choose the number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5 would no longer refer to combinations of food, but rather just the number of times the product had been recycled. We're lucky to be able to partner with the World Trade Organization, which...
So yeah, I think that does a good job breaking down exactly how this Geeks and Gamers thing's going to work.
Yeah.
Okay. So
we have another announcement, and that...
Well, so I was just going to say that I was trying to find Rogue Elements on Rotten Tomatoes because I was like, I don't know what's really motivating this, and apparently it's not even there on Rotten Tomatoes.
I thought it was. I know it's on IMDb.
Yeah, like Rotten Tomatoes, he's thinking of IMDb for sure, because we all know what that one is. We've seen the Birdman videos. We've seen it. We know what that score is. We know the laugh.
It is that we are joining forces with Criticless. Now, if you don't know what Criticless is essentially a Rotten Tomatoes / Letterboxd alternative. You can go over there, review movies, make lists, all of that. There is an average score over there. There's an app on Android and Apple.
Oh wow, I didn't know they had an app. I should maybe check that out. But it probably costs money, I bet.
I don't know, but I know that the website looks really awful.
It's pretty bad. We checked it out the other night.
Well, he's saying it's.
No, go on, Bob.
No, I was just gonna say he's saying it's like Letterboxd and Rotten Tomatoes, and it's like, well, which one is it? Because those are two different sites. One's an aggregate. One actually posts reviews, although it does aggregate it to a degree, but like it's more just almost like a social media site for reviews. Like, pick a lane. Which one is it? Pick one.
The first thing it wants is for me to do.
God.
Do anything. Pay us money. We want your money for sure. And then it's just like no fucking rhyme or reason, really. I guess trending TV. So there's that. Trending water coolers. I don't know what that means, but there's Spider-Man and then it's seemingly a pornographic film right next to each other.
Oh my God.
By the way, the app is rated for teenagers, by the way. I don't know if you knew that in the store. It's rated T for teen.
So
That
you got
is horrible
people
text.
presuming to give their ideas for how to fix Return of the Jedi. That's fun.
That's a good way to review a film. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I can't even see like you have to be a real dickhead to do that on like even Letterboxd or something without being sarcastic about it. So the way that they score things, because if you may remember, we have a video over on the Shillcast channel where we looked at a couple of different anti-woke Rotten Tomatoes kind of sites. There was Woke or Not is one of them, and then there was I forget the other name. They were really stupid and bad, and like one of them was extremely bad. But they're basically the same thing in the sense that does it have any of the stuff that trigger us and make us think that the wokies are taking over and trying to groom our children? So it's just a paranoiac's fucking wet dream for movie reviews.
Well, here's my thing about Rotten Tomatoes, though, and this is where it's going to sort of not work in their favor, is they're constantly referring to one score or the other on there to say whether a film is good or not in all their videos. Now they're delegitimizing that, and so all they're going to get is exactly what they want, which is their audience scoring films that their audience likes or dislikes. And so it completely delegitimizes any sort of criticism of film. And it's just, I can't think why they thought this would be a good idea. Is anybody going to watch their channel and think, oh, they're right, Criticless says this film is woke, I guess we won't go and see it?
I mean, the idea that with the boys in particular, and then I guess Gen V as well, it seems like they have a real hard time understanding the overt political stuff, themes, and then but then sometimes something will pop out as a little bit more heavy-handed or obvious or whatever, and then they get really triggered by that. But to me, I'm just like, I don't even know how you can sit and watch this at all, because to me, I just see this as coming from a at least left of center perspective. But yeah, they're not very politically informed, I suppose. So
one good thing I will say about directing more of their audience to engage with this website is it means there's going to be less brigading of films and TV shows on Rotten Tomatoes.
You would think. You would think. I mean,
Oh wow! So just a little bit of information on the owner of Criticless. His name is Blaine Andrews. He's from North Carolina.
Oh.
He said he founded Criticless in early 2023. He was frustrated with what he saw as out-of-touch corporate influence critics. He was mad that he could not get approved for Rotten Tomatoes, so he created his own app.
Oh, that's the same story as whatever it was. They're rejects from something or another that they really want to be part of. Because they're rejected, then they feel like now it's bad. I gotta hate it forever.
It says, what if we had a platform for regular people to review entertainment that didn't cater to any specific ideology? Movement for social and cultural change, emphasizing the opinions of regular people. And then it says here
the audience score.
Yeah. It says when you load up the app on the main loading screen, it says down with the establishment on the loading screen.
That sounds like an attack on Trump.
He talked about wokeness on the Alex Swesta show. I don't know what that is. It says the title of the video was "Woke Crap is Ruining Everything," featuring Blaine Andrews. I bet you that's on YouTube somewhere. Woke Crap is Ruining Everything, featuring Blaine Andrews. Yeah.
I mean, it's clear that obviously they're full of shit whenever they say that it's the regular people or whatever. But the whole point of putting out something calling it for this is for the fans, it's the regular people, the blah blah blah, is they want to normalize and have to some degree been very successful with normalizing, mainstreaming these ideas as the normal status quo ideas.
Unfortunately for them, though, say that website eventually does become a big success and that website is normalized amongst regular people, the scores are going to adjust to reflect that, so they're going to get a more balanced.
We'd have to do a whole deep dive, but I'm looking at scores right now, and it honestly, a lot of people don't seem to be scoring it like the same way that I even like on the Woke or Not. We could go look at that one. That one was they understand the assignment on that one. With this one, it seems like they're not kind of trying to. Some of them anyway aren't going that hard on the things that you would expect them to. Just like, go ahead, sorry.
There are going to be normies, though. That's the other thing. Because this website exists, there are going to be normies who stumble across it looking for a review site who will sign up to it. Because I mean, you've only got to read some of the reviews on IMDb to realize that some people who post reviews on there are insane, and so it's just as likely that normal people will find this website not realizing that it's political propaganda and rate films accordingly, which is exactly what they don't want. They don't want normal people finding out about this website. They want their audience doing it.
This is really interesting. On that stream, What Crap is Ruining Everything? With this guy, we've got OMD Reviews, who is part of the whole Geeks and Gamers ecosystem. Tom Connors from Midnight's Edge is on there. Jesus. So that pretty much tells me he's exactly the kind of person that we expect him to be, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, but like, so I just clicked on Peacemaker, and I'm looking at just a general glance of the reviews, and they have these just gaudy but at least easy to see rating graphics here. And then the terms that I guess they've arbitrarily decided that.
Oh my God, he's the guy who created this website like 100 years old. Rad.
So there's hey, it has to be rad sometimes, man. Come on. There's
yeah,
rad.
You are 100 years old, like me.
That's true. Bogus, rad, decent, heinous. You know, and what's kind of weird is that like there's several decents and a couple of rads for Peacemaker season 2. And it's like, well, okay, so a couple of these people aren't getting that. I don't know how they get here. You know what I'm saying,
dude? Like, I'm surprised. I'm surprised the opposite of heinous isn't non-heinous.
Can you arrange the reviews in order of best to worst? You go to the top of that. There's no, down a bit. It was on that. Yeah, at the top of that. There's a sorting thing. Most recent. See if it most upvoted. Oh, most. No, we would want most downvoted.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
well,
that doesn't really do anything.
It doesn't make sense. That
it doesn't function correctly.
Oh, someone gave it a most excellent.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, I think it's interesting. So I typed in Last Jedi and by accidentally slipped and I threw an extra letter in the. So there's a G in there randomly and it could not find what I was talking about. Great search functionality. It said just gibberish word Last Jedi and it couldn't figure out what I was searching for.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't get it, man. I can't find it.
So this is really funny. I clicked on the beginning of the podcast, just like the first couple minutes of it to see what they were saying. And within the first 2 minutes, they're making fun of queer people. It's like right at the beginning of the podcast.
So
I see. It's most upvote, most downvote, but there's no like positive, really.
That doesn't make most recent.
Sense. God damn. It does make
or whether people who read the reviews have liked or disliked it.
Yeah, so it's all popularity contest shit, you know.
I want you guys to check. We're just going to listen to this like 1 minute piece of this, but this is the interview right here. What Crap is Ruining Everything with Blaine Andrews. This is the guy that owns this website over here. As you can see, OMD Reviews, Tom Connors, Midnight Edge. It's a cavalcade of really old guys, obviously upset that they can't be on Rotten Tomatoes for whatever reason.
But divorce that energy is strong.
Exactly. But listen to what this guy over here says. Like, this is so stupid, but just listen to this.
This is Butch Dyke. I'm now a lesbian. Remember, I can be whatever I want. I am non-binary.
Are you gay and lame? Gay and lame? Is that
today I'm identifying as gay and lame. Yes,
Brian, if you colored that blue, you'd look exactly like Megan Rapinoe with a beard.
AKA Bambi. I am Bambi.
So this is what they do. 2 minutes into the stream, and they are already like joking about how they identify. It's like this is their entire personality. This is the entire personality.
I remember joking about identifying as a lesbian when I was a teenager.
Exactly. I said that in my video today.
Fucking years ago.
I was like, what are these guys, 15-year-olds? Like, I don't, it doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yes, they are. Like, essentially, in terms of emotional growth, that's where they stopped there. You know what I mean? That was where they had the most fun in life with their boys, just making jokes, you know, about being lesbians and because they like pussy too. And, you know,
it's almost like a incel midlife crisis thing. You know what I mean? That's what it feels like with these guys.
I'm still relevant.
Like, yeah, this right here, at least in a lot of cases, they're gonna. I mean, imagine a younger person clicking on that video.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, there's gonna be some that just already are primed to agree with the shit they're saying, but like a lot of people younger people will see that and be like, nah.
I believe, and I'm not saying these guys are in the closet or anything like that, but I believe, and I've said this before, but I just want to say it again in case people forgot that I said it. I believe there's jealousy on the freedom that some queer people have that these guys don't. They're married with kids. They're locked into this bro culture. They probably feel, in a lot of ways, at least some of them feel like they have to play the part. That they couldn't just dye their hair blue if they wanted to, or they couldn't go out to a drag show if they wanted to. All these things are things that it's an impossibility for them because it would infringe on the facade of the life they have. And so they're jealous of people who can participate in that, regardless of age, regardless of who they are, because they are so locked in to this worldview that they can't get away from. And I would say to a lot of those guys, just do what the fuck you want to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Just do what you want to do. Who gives a fuck what these other people think about you? If you are that fragile that coloring your hair blue or having a friend that happens to be gay or trans or whatever, if that's a big problem for you, then you are you're living a sad existence. 100%.
Yeah, dyeing your hair non-natural color used to be a sign of rebellion against the system. And to be honest, it still is. But these guys have been so poisoned by the sort of conservative idea that they're unwilling to commit to all the other conservative ideas, like wearing a suit to work and shaving, but they're not quite willing to go that extra step of really expressing themselves. I mean, if you didn't have colored hair at some point in your life, then you're missing out.
Yeah. I mean, I used to color my beard every week, like a couple of years ago.
Definitely, when I was probably in my mid to late 20s, went through a phase where I would just change my hair color every month or so. Every month.
I stopped coloring my beard because it's a lot of work.
It is.
And I was like, I don't want to keep doing it. But
the beard in particular would grow out too fast.
It does grow out pretty fast, yeah. But I mean, it's just one of those things that bothers me. I'm like, these guys are mad because they can't do what they want to do. Grown men mad because other people are enjoying life. It's crazy.
This is absolutely true. Like, and it really should be stated more often that this is a fact. Like, people that are just like, even if you like, they're just unhappy. They're unhappy people. They're unhappy with who they are. They're unhappy with the world. They're afraid of everything they don't understand. It's pathetic. And now they've gotten everything. They won the fucking government,
and they're bored. They have nothing now.
That's the thing. Like they complain about everything.
Get one of my hats. If you're bored, buy a hat.
Like I actually have like lots of solutions I'd like to present to political spheres, but they don't have solutions. They just have bitches.
Well, a good example of one of the introducing arguments without solutions.
They have solutions.
Yeah.
They have solutions.
Well,
good, Dane.
I want to show this real quick. Just
okay.
Check this.
Can't hear.
We're just absolutely fucked as farmers, guys. Everything is so fucked, and I do not see anybody surviving this farm crisis that we're in. Guys, look, one of the best splorn crops that I have ever raised in my life. And because of the tariffs, China will not fucking buy it. And they are the only country in the world other than, well, they are the only country in the world that buys splorn. And so now I'm literally just chopping it and blowing it on the fucking ground because it's fucking useless. It's valueless. There's nothing I can fucking do to it. I am going to need government assistance to make it through this fucking crisis until these tariffs end. Look, I've never raised a splorn crop like this, guys. And this is just fucking heartbreaking to me. I don't know how I'm gonna survive. Trump said he fucking loved us farmers, and here I am just blowing my
Well, I think it's
Hornets, but
yeah.
I think it's worth saying. Like he's talking about he's going to need government assistance. I feel like we all are eventually. Like the economy is just tanking so fucking hard.
Well, I mean, there's a lot. I know we've kind of shifted away a little bit from what we were talking about, but they are getting assistance. He's going to end up bailing them out. We've already talked about it. We know that's coming. He sent a bunch of money to Argentina because Malay is his puppet, so he wants to put money over there and trying to give us beef from Argentina, which right now they've got foot and mouth disease outbreak over there. So good luck eating any beef from Argentina. But we have that going on, and they've quietly, and this was in the Wall Street Journal, gotten rid of tariffs on non-American produced products. So things like computer chips, things like that. Quietly, those tariffs are going away. They're not going to announce it because it would make them look like they're, there's a problem with the way they did things. They don't want to look bad. But the Wall Street Journal reported on it. They're going to slowly roll away the tariffs that were on products that are not made in America and not say anything to anybody. Now, the sad thing is some of those prices will probably still stay up because that's how that works. Some things will probably stay a little bit more expensive. They'll never go back to the prices they were before tariffs because it just doesn't make any sense for the companies to do that. But this is them quietly admitting defeat, quietly admitting it. They're not going to say it loudly, but quietly admitting defeat.
Apparently, that's actually a fucking satire video, but still, it is expresses a legit thing that's happening. But yeah, you're right. We did kind of veer off of talking about the fan stuff. So in order to not confuse the topic of what we're actually talking about here, let's talk about the boys. Because Gen V, I have not seen the finale of season 2 yet, but apparently
I saw it. It
sets up the season 5 of the boys, and Eric Kripke has come out to say what that's about. And so that's this way it'll be very clear that we're talking about fan content, and that's what we're talking about only. Okay. So Eric Kripke says The Boys season 5 is an underground resistance against a fascist government, which definitely has no comparison to anything going on anywhere in the world.
I mean, he's been quite open about the fact that like the part of the reason he wants to wrap up The Boys is that he feels like real life is caught up to just the ridiculous story he wanted to tell, and it's like fuck,
I mean,
we're all right there.
The thing that I'm worried about with this season is that it won't live up to the moment that it is in. That it has.
I hope it does, but I don't know if it will. I will say based on the on the finale of Gen V, without any spoilers, it seems like they're setting up a pretty good like cast of characters to go up against Homelander. I feel like that's what we're working towards.
I mean, I mostly enjoyed this season of Gen V. It's I guess I wouldn't say that I was like hyped to watch it every week, but I always remembered what day, I go, today's that day. That's generally how I rate how much I'm enjoying a show is by each week. Am I like, as soon as it's over, am I like, can't wait till next week? You know what I mean? Or whatever. And with this, I
like Gen V better than The Boys, personally. I think it's a better show.
Characters, quite a bit. Yeah.
I feel like Gen V is the X-Men Academy we've never had, which is what I love about it. It's a little bit more off the rails than what an X-Men Academy would be, but essentially I feel like it is. I feel like we have it.
X-Men Academy radar.
I think Gen V works for me because DC and Marvel refuse to give us any sort of like young character storyline where we get to see them coming up as superheroes in a superhero world. They keep teetering on it with like a lot of these young Avenger characters, but we haven't actually gotten it. So Gen V scratched that itch for me as a viewer. So,
well, and that probably has something to do with the hesitancy to because they know what they would need to do to tell a story that actually appeals to young people and tells, the story of younger people in this current days. And that would include, queer stories. That would include, Black Lives Matter stories. That would include things that would just automatically you're gonna get a lot of shit from a certain sector of people who we've been talking about.
I think one of the coolest introductions into the superhero universe is a bi-gender superhero where their powers are connected to their gender. That's extremely cool to me. Like it's a good allegory. I think it makes a lot of sense. It does raise a lot of questions. I do enjoy that part of it. But the thing that really got me on that wasn't just the ability to switch gender. It was the ability to have different powers with each gender.
Yeah, one of them is more of a defensive power. The other one's more of like a
right. Yeah. I thought that was incredibly cool to me. And I
coded to like traditional gender norms, which is something to discuss on its own, right?
Shout out to Jordan. Yeah, one of them is like a force field. The other is like super strength. So it's really cool.
Yep.
So what you're saying is I need to catch up on Gen V. I got it.
I think it's really good. This is one of my favorite seasons. I think it's better than last season.
The Boys comes out with the final season for sure.
Yeah.
Though, for all of their constant grousing that everything is too political now, I would argue that actually modern fiction is almost less political because it's so in your face that it's not as subtle as it was, and that stories used to be less political in order to not turn off the audience while still being political. I mean, I think we see this a bit in the new Star Trek series, how they're not pushing the envelope hard enough, really, with the allegory and the sort of tone. So it's good to see that some shows are still presenting.
And without spoiling too much, we got like a evil Professor X versus good Magneto storyline in Gen V, which I think is pretty interesting.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah, I was completely not surprised by how the last episode kind of wound up. I kind of predicted a good bit of that.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway,
the last episode, like the predictable aspect of the season, kind of didn't matter to me after this finale because the finale really nailed it.
I don't even mean that in a negative sense. Like you know, if I can figure something out just by I don't feel like it was super obvious, but I kind of just guessed based on.
I think it might be my favorite TV show finale from a superhero series in the last year or so. I think
because all I've seen two takes so far, just no spoilers, but they said that they were disappointed by it. So.
Well, I think because it is setting up another show. So I think there is
almost
that.
There's going to be more seasons of Gen V. We all knew that going in.
I think Gen V is going to have 5, just like The Boys, and then we got Vault Rising coming out, so that's another new series. So
I wish I was more hyped for Vault Rising, but maybe we'll see what happens.
Well, I wasn't super hyped for Gen V even, and then I started watching. Went, okay, I like this.
What else we got? I wanted to. Sure. You guys know about this RFK Jr. guy? We talked about him a little bit.
He's not a person that has any power.
Nope, he sure doesn't. And how did he come upon that power? You know what I mean? Like, did he perhaps do it very cynically? And is he completely kind of an evil bastard? Maybe, I don't know. We'll see what this is about. This is a 2016. RFK Jr. was speaking to a guest on his radio show about how Trump's supporters were outright Nazis and bootlickers.
You know, one of the things that you write so beautifully, and your stuff is so fun to read, but you write about Trump. Quote, the way that you build a truly vicious nationalist movement is to wed a relatively small core of belligerent idiots to a much larger group of opportunists and spineless fellow travelers whose primary function is to turn a blind eye to things. We may not have that many outright Nazis in America, but we have plenty of cowards and bootlickers, and once those fleshy dominoes start tumbling into the Trump camp, the game is up.
Yeah. I don't know.
It makes sense. Makes sense.
Maybe relevant at all. Could be.
So apparently the brain worm, the first thing it attacks is your spine.
I think so, yeah. Graham Plattner's Nazi tattoo. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I wasn't even aware of that guy before the news of his Nazi tattoo. So, whatever. It's not good. You know what I mean? It's not good that's the people that keep getting, keep getting people like him and Fetterman held up as like, oh, this is a guy that's going to fight for us and whatnot. And then he literally did
At least this reveal came before he got elected.
True.
So. Weird though how so many people in Trump's cabinet now have called him either a Nazi or Hitler. I mean, you would have thought none would be the ideal number, but he's got 2.
Well, yeah, they're all willing to suck up to him. So
yeah.
So, are you guys familiar with John F. Trent?
I think so. Yeah, it used to be bounding into comics. They used to be like a really prominent website, and then they just kind of stopped being so prominent.
Yeah, are you guys familiar with John Dela Rose?
Yeah, he's a Nazi.
Yeah. Are you?
Is he the one that beat his wife?
He's the one that. Yeah, I mean, he's not the one Nazi that beat his wife. He's among the many of the army of Nazis who have beat their wives. Yes.
Did you guys know that they had a butt baby?
I'd heard about such horrors. It is Halloween month after all. Let's hear about this horrible thing.
Oh dear. So you guys have probably heard this cosmic book news. Matt McGloin, the butt baby of those other two. Something I thought was funny looking over this, because I know I think on Eric's stream, he went over a video where like this is one of their sources or something, and it caught me to look at the Twitter feed and like just the whole thing in general, and like this has become like the most Snyder Bro website I've ever seen in my life. Like holy shit, everything is James Gunn sucks and Snyder good on this website. Like not everything, but like 90% of it. 90%.
Do we need to go over the history of this, by the way? The whole reason, like he's got a history with hating James Gunn, and it's storied. So
I'd like to hear this.
This guy claims to, and you can find it, I'm sure, on this website. Just go find an article where he talks about Guardians of the Galaxy, probably just James Gunn in general. He claims to be the reason why the first Guardians of the Galaxy film was successful, why it was made in the first place. Claims he's the reason because back in the day, which was would have been around 2007, 2008. This is Annihilation Conquest, was the Marvel space event that was going on, the sequel to Annihilation, and that's when the Guardians of the Galaxy team that we all know debuted in the comics. And it was a very popular immediately right off the bat. I loved it. It was fucking, it was great. I remember getting right into it and reading it because they introduced the team in the Annihilation Conquest event, and then they spun off the series off of that. So I was there buying number 1, 2, 3, so on. And lots of people were, and it was being talked about a lot. And apparently he being talking about it on his website back then, he thinks that is just the reason why the movie was they decided to make the movie. He has nothing to base that on, of course. Just vibes. And so he claims to be, the reason for its success, which that's already just delusional enough. But it's basically created this lifelong hatred for some reason, envy. I don't know. He somehow attached himself to James Gunn and his success and wanting to ride that or whatever. But also he doxed James Gunn's phone number one time.
I do remember that. That was classy. Yeah.
So Dave Bautista was doing some fan event or whatever, and it was like a comic con, I guess, and he decided just in the moment, he's like, I'm going to call James Gunn so you guys can, I'll say hi to him, right, on speakerphone or whatever. And, kind of silly move on Bautista's part, but still, innocent mistake. He called on speakerphone. It went to voicemail. There's James Gunn's phone number. And as the responsible journalist that Pat McGroin is, he decided he's going to go ahead and just tell everybody what that phone number is. So, yeah, James Gunn had to get a new phone number. Not saying that that was super traumatic for him. It's just a shitty thing to do, and it shows the level of his journalistic professionalism. So,
well, I think it starts when you call your website Cosmic Book News when there's comic book news coming. This is like the Den of Nerd, Den of Geek thing all over again.
And Bleeding Fool.
Yeah.
This is just something that these chuds do because they know they can't, it's just an easy way to get traffic from probably, let's be honest, at least not very observant people. Everybody can misspell and accidentally, type in the wrong thing. That happens to everybody sometimes, but to not even necessarily notice or care that you went to something besides what you're actually looking for. For example, you've typed in bleeding cool, but you accidentally type fool or whatever. Even just typing in bleeding cool, I think bleeding fool actually kind of comes up in Google, relatively high on the list. And that is just an outright virulent hate Comicsgate website. Cosmic Book News is very much in the vein of all of these. It's kind of like he's kind of like John F. Trent if he didn't have the extreme nationalist Catholic angle to him, just the general nationalism. But yeah, do you have any specific examples, Bob? Articles?
Well, honestly, for me, I was just going over so here we can go over this real fast because I just look over this and I'm like, first article, and this is just featured article. It's in order, I'm sure, in the order of release. James Gunn has lost a DC audience. Now what? What? Because Peacemaker's over? Zack Snyder sparks DC shakeup with Henry Cavill's Superman Instagram post? Yeah, he's a filmmaker. He might post stuff. James Gunn's real DCEU villain might be the Center, not Brainiac?
I don't...
Actually seems like that might actually be... Well,
did we even have a reason to think it was Brainiac yet?
No, I don't recall any hints of Brainiac at all.
It's
Superman.
That might be where they go, but still, I don't think we got anything about that.
Yeah.
And then
James Gunn's Peacemaker season 2 ratings flops hard, loses nearly 40% of viewers. I'd be interested to know what your source is on that, considering they don't share viewing numbers.
Oh, it's Samba TV.
That old grift.
Oh,
God.
Yeah.
So is this one of the ones that does it based on number of hours in the thousands or whatever?
No, Samba TV is the one that does it based on people who own at Samba TV or
what the fuck even is that?
Or stream through the Samba TV network. It's like a conglomerate or something like that. It's not even Nielsen, because Nielsen, the way they collate their ratings is the way they've always done it. They do a sample survey of the American public, which has always been deeply ineffective, even back in the old days.
I mean,
Samba TV specifically has a thing in their technology that records what channels you watch.
So I don't know if I know I've gone over it before, but I don't know if people really understand how Nielsen used to work. It used to be if you were like a select person, you could get a Nielsen box, and the Nielsen box essentially would, record what you're watching, and before you watch something, it would ask how many people are in the room watching and stuff like that. And then they would have to use like the 100 or maybe 1,000 of boxes that are out there, and essentially do math to try to figure out approximately how many people are watching. Not super effective, let's be honest. But they're estimating it. And that's kind of what Samba TV is. Now, here's the deal. HBO knows the numbers. They just don't share them publicly. So what are the numbers on Peacemaker?
No idea. No one knows.
That's a good question. I'll be honest. I wish they did share it, but they don't. But yeah, anybody who's talked about, Samba TV says this, Nielsen says that. These are old systems. I mean, Samba TV is technically a new system, but it's based on an old system that nobody uses anymore. They have the numbers on them. But yeah, we can just keep on going. It's like, go a little bit further. James Gunn blamed for Marvel post-Endgame failure. Huh? James Gunn's DCU is falling apart. Here's why. Says Critical Drinker. Oh my God, we're doing the like I said, they'll write, Critical Drinker does a video, they do an article. Maybe Ryan Cannell will do a fucking video on this article. It's all this fucking human centipede of shit that just recycling through.
So I'm just looking at how Samba TV works. It's basically how we thought it did. If your smart TV has Samba TV technology in it, it records what channels you watch. If you opt in to being a part of the Samba TV network.
So yeah, here's the thing. They do. It is included in many smart TVs, from what I understand. I'm actually reading something on Reddit from a guy who claims to have been a tech for Samba TV at one point. However, the way he describes it says that it's not the complete picture. So essentially, that if you're not doing it, talking about it in context of other things that are also rated or measured the same way, then it's not useful information. If you're just taking, let's say, one show, taking a snapshot of that and saying, here's what the ratings are all bad, then you're not being completely not giving a full picture, right? And so that makes sense. So it's only useful amongst if you're comparing it to other things that are rated by or measured by Samba, right?
Mm-hmm.
It just and this is a nerdrotic tactic. It's a slightly different variation of it, but they've done this shit before.
This is what Nielsen used to do as well. That because it was a sample size, the way TV networks would use it to judge how many of their audience was watching is they would do it as a percentage. So of all the people watching Nielsen TVs, if like 20% are watching NBC, 20% are watching CBS, etc., that's how they would sort of pass out whether a TV show was a success or not. Whereas now, I don't think it works like that because we're in an age of so many channels and so much TV. So in order to get accurate Nielsen ratings now, there's no real way of doing it.
So I brought up this article because this article is just insane. James Gunn out at DC with Warner Brothers sale. Okay, so Warner Brothers literally just yesterday, I think, announced that they're considering possibly selling. And I know Paramount's been out there, but essentially it's saying he's saying he reached out to his insiders. Okay, I don't believe you, but okay. Essentially, the insiders are saying James Gunn will be out if the sale goes through. It's like, wait a minute. Like, are these insiders at Paramount? Are these insiders at DC? Like, what? Like, there's so many fucking questions to this, and it's like you don't know anything, do you?
Right. I mean, let's be real about what we're seeing what happen. It's happening pretty quick too. So in the context of Warner Brothers potentially, being going to sell itself, as Eric pointed out, maybe going to be just like chunks, departments more or less that they sell off. You're seeing a whole lot of this type of content come out, and you're seeing a whole lot of movement from the Snyder cult, which honestly, had kind of gotten pretty quiet for the most part. And it makes me wonder how much of it is organic, right? Like, it can't help but notice, but there's a lot of videos and a lot of content popping up in from the Snyder perspective and trying to say that, oh, the Snyderverse was so successful and James Gunn stuff is not successful. It's objectively, hilariously untrue. Just like you can go look at the actual sales numbers of things like box office and then, stuff like that. The only the only place that's in question of a project not doing as well or whatever is the Suicide Squad, and that's simply because it did not go to the movie theaters the way that other movies did. So they love to point to that one as being a failure, and it's like, no, man, it isn't even in the conversation because it wasn't measured in any kind of way that you can,
it was released to streaming same day. I watched it streaming. But I mean, I think you can tell a lot just by looking at the very first sentence of this article. With Superman reportedly bombing financially, and with Peacemaker season 2 flopping with fans. First of all, Superman didn't bomb, and Peacemaker 2 flopping with fans. Citation. You just gonna say Samba? Okay.
So I mean, they are selling if someone offers them the money that they want, which nobody has yet. So they aren't yet.
I mean, part of my thing is like, okay, so Paramount's gonna buy WB, and listen, man, we've all seen Zaslav. If there's enough money in it for short-term games, he will jump at it because that's all David Zaslav gives a shit about. But like, I don't see Paramount necessarily having enough money to buy DC to make it worth. Well, not DC, Warner Brothers to make it worth it. It's actually more than DC, but we will have to see. Also, like politics free, guys. Keep politics out of my superhero stuff, guys.
Right. Yeah.
How does this even work? This is insane. This looks. Once again, we have President Donald Trump to thank for making entertainment, Hollywood, and pop culture great again. And this time, it's about DC and Superman.
So wait, how is it great? So is the Superman movies good now because of this?
Yeah, is it good because of Donald Trump? What? It all ties back to David Ellison and Skydance Paramount, who are making big moves in Hollywood. Ellison says, son of billionaire Larry Ellison wants to purchase Warner Bros. Discovery, which includes, yes, we know it's DC stuff, which means Truth, Justice, and the American Way could be making a comeback.
What?
That's it?
What?
So wait, are they telling me their only issue with the new Superman movie is that he doesn't say Truth, Justice, and the American Way? God, these people are so fucking shallow. It's ridiculous.
No, they also don't like that Superman isn't a basically undefeatable god who needed to work with other people to accomplish goals.
You mean unlike the Zack Snyder Superman who died? Just saying.
But he died being a hero,
Oh, I'm sure this Superman would never.
He died when he didn't have to. He could have given the spear to Wonder Woman or some. There's like several things he could have done.
He could have given it to Batman. Shit.
He's like, no, I must sacrifice myself.
Mm-hmm. And again, with Superman reportedly bombing, like what is their citation for Superman bombing?
It didn't bomb by any fucking metric. It did not bomb. It just
people keep on saying, well, it made less than Man of Steel. Yeah, Man of Steel was a lot more expensive.
Look, guys, what this is, and what we see with these Chud creators, and what it's become more and more clear to me as I've looked into just the ideas, the Curtis Yarvin of it all behind the modern conservatism, which really isn't conservatism. It's really just it's fascism. We can call it fascism. We can call it the goal being monarchism, essentially corporate monarchism. They are doing The Secret. That's all they're doing. That's their. If you don't remember what that was, it's a big book back in the day that a lot of people got into. Very stupid. The idea that if you just visualize the world that you want or the thing that you want, and it'll come true essentially. But these guys take it to the level of they literally just, if you just say something is true enough, that eventually they will make it true. And in a way, they're not entirely wrong. You know what I mean? Look at who's fucking president for the second time.
Yeah.
You know, all the terrible things happening. In a lot of ways, it does seem like they've managed to overwrite reality with just by like wishing hard enough and repeating, you know, bullshit to themselves until it isn't bullshit anymore. That's kind of terrifying, but you know, that is what's going on. That's what these Chud creators are doing. They've always done. You know, that's where we're
So
at.
a couple of things they do that are really misleading. While the studio claimed the film had a $225 production budget, it's since been reported via Variety that an additional $125 million was spent on marketing.
No, it wasn't.
So if you've actually looked at Birdman has talked about how Variety and Deadline, who are fairly reliable publications, so not as much recently, they will frequently do estimates and sometimes kind of just make up shit for
well, what we learned is that the marketing is done for like a year at a time. Like they don't build out marketing per movie. You just have a marketing budget generally, and like, you know, those things aren't reported. It's
and then
well, look at it like this. Look at it like any other product. Look at say a can of Coke. When you buy that, obviously Coke have put into it the cost of production of the can and everything inside the can. Would you include advertising in that, in how much it costs to make that can? No, you wouldn't. It's part of their expenses, just like all the people it employs.
I mean, what were the popcorn bucket sales for Superman? Because I saw plenty of Superman popcorn buckets. Thought about getting one. Nothing thrilled me, but I like the movie.
It's really silly to. Sorry, go ahead, Ryan.
The marketing budget is essentially a film's advertising budget. That's all it is, and it's not fixed. It's not a fixed number because of the way Hollywood works. So they will have a deal in place, a contracted deal with certain places for years. Others they'll do on a film by film basis. But the reason that they don't include the marketing budget in with their film budget is because the two things are not the same.
So here's another bit here. So they're citing Forbes here. Forbes recently broke down the film's theatrical revenue and explained how the split with theater chains works. The site notes, given that films generally split their ticket sales 50-50 with theater owners, that means Superman's theatrical net equates to nearly $308 million. So immediately, like that word generally doing some heavy fucking lifting. Because essentially what they're citing is Forbes essentially saying we're guessing. Then they're treating it like, oh, well, this is fact. This is absolute. And it's like literally the quote is Forbes saying, this is what we think.
The next sentence gets me though, and that's before even factoring in residuals. Well, residuals don't happen unless the film is sold to somewhere to show it. So if a film is
the bottom line, sorry.
Actors get residuals when the film is shown by another TV network. So why would that factor into the budget? It would come out of the money they make from selling it to the TV channel that's going to show it.
Yeah, residuals, like it's all based on the actor's contract and how much residuals they get. But like the residuals are also like if the movie makes money, they get residuals. That's what residuals are. Period.
Yeah.
If it's not making money, they don't get the residual check. It's
no back end points. None of the actors in this film had a back end deal. Why would they? They were all well, none of them are big name stars. It's not like Jack Nicholson demanding back end for Batman when that came out.
Hold on 1 second. Bob of the old ways, McLeod, the thing y'all are discussing in chat is not what we're discussing right now. I think it's kind of silly that y'all are still going on about this. Please stop.
Yeah, there are other channels that go into more detail about this. They'll have more knowledge than.
So I'm looking on Google. I'm trying to determine what the general narrative is, and that's kind of the thing is there isn't one. There's a lot of effort to normalize the talking point that this actually wasn't a successful film, and that's been bolstered by the recent, I guess, report or whatever that calls into question whether or not they were relying on the movie to go to streaming or whatever. And it's like, of course they factor that stuff in, but nonetheless, the thing I want to set all that shit aside, man. Did you like the movie or not?
Yeah.
if you like the movie, why would you be, it was successful enough that it's already greenlit a sequel. That's happening, period. It's going to happen. Okay. So like, you don't need to debating over the success over at this point is kind of arbitrary unless you're trying to push a narrative. That's the only reason why anybody would be, at this point talking about it like that. Because to me, a fan would be like, well, what's the sequel going to be about? It's fast tracked. So they see a reason to get that done, pretty quickly. I don't know. I'm excited about seeing it.
So, I mean, the movie made like around what, 615 in the box office. Usually movies can make up to 100 million on streaming once they're released to streaming. And we know this movie was wildly successful on streaming. It still is successful on streaming. That it's doing extremely well. So, I mean, it's safe to assume that there's a strong chance this movie has made over 700 million. Now they're not going to share that, but it's going to be around that. And that puts it at the 2 times. And that's just giving them the whole credit for the 125 million marketing. We aren't counting, all the extra, like, the company buying the rights to put Superman on a cereal box and all that extra stuff. We're not counting on any of that. Just looking at the raw numbers as they are, and even giving them the marketing bullshit, which you really shouldn't. It still is a success. Given their own metrics, it's a success. But they, let's ignore these are qualifications. It's frustrating dealing with these guys.
Yeah, once again, sage like prophet Will Jordan confidently said that he didn't see this film hitting 600 million. He said that while it was at 585 million.
I know. I remember seeing that clip and be like, dude, it's like gonna make 600 million in like 3 days. What are you talking about? But
I don't know. I just have to cast a lot of doubt on the people that are so determined to, if they're coming from, almost certainly they're going to be using Cosmic Book News, some of them for, sourcing their information. So,
but I think it goes back to what you said. The reason you want a film to be successful is in order, really, to get a sequel. That's the only reason for wanting a film to succeed, as long as you enjoyed it. And this film is getting a sequel, so it was successful for anybody who enjoyed it. And if you didn't enjoy it, fair enough. But it's getting a sequel, so for those who did enjoy it, good news.
And the question will be now, whenever whenever the sequel does well, if it does well, or the second sequel or whatever, if this DC universe just continues to do pretty well, but maybe isn't, which is really what the issue is here, that there's gray area in whether or not this is a success or not. And it's because as I'm looking on Reddit right here, somebody brings up Lilo and Stitch. What else? Several movies that made Jurassic World. Made $800 million. Those movies did better than Superman. So compared to those, it wasn't a resounding success. However, factors matter. The factors that essentially this brand was kind of dead, man. When you look
this brand was fucked.
When you look at how bad Justice League did, because it was a bad movie, but also just because at that point they'd already ruined their goodwill with Batman versus Superman. Any goodwill that Man of Steel, provided, which was some, I think. I was looking forward to.
For me, it was like tepid. I watched Man of Steel and I was like, okay, there's lots of things I have issues with, but I think there's potential with this. Let's see what they do with it. And then
Wonder Woman was pretty good. Wonder Woman.
Yeah, Wonder Woman worked. Yeah.
And so they were. Look, DC was always at an uphill battle going against Marvel, who had already had a good long head start. And it was going to be tricky for them no matter what. I think they made a mistake putting all of their eggs in the Snyder basket the way they did, but it was at least it was a creative choice. And it just didn't work out.
Let's not forget as well, in the early Marvel films, they weren't hugely successful.
Right.
True. Incredible Hulk, like Iron Man, was a big deal, and I'm pretty sure Iron Man didn't even break 600 million. Let's be honest.
That's about how much it made, was 600 something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Superman made about as much as Iron Man. Now, also the fact that Superman films historically have not been big box office earners, dude.
No.
I think that's kind of just like, I don't know, some kind of weird retroactive myth making that people have done in their minds to think that.
Yeah.
You know,
Now
Batman's
he is
the one that
he
makes
is,
bank.
I was about
Right?
to say, like there's the big Trinity, Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman. They're considered the big ones, but let's be real. Their big box office draw is Batman.
There's a reason why the sequel to Man of Steel did not have Superman's name in it, or not, I mean, did not have Superman's name first, right?
Mhm.
And it was literally a Batman who had not been introduced yet, right? Like that's not a choice they made arbitrarily. You know what I mean?
I mean, actually, just going over this whole article, it seems like it's just all fapping off to this cringy Trump as Superman photo. Like, I'm sorry, these MAGA people are fucking cringe. Like,
Yeah,
do
they're
they
actually
not understand how cringe they are?
Well, let's think about that. Let's
Mm.
think about that though. If you're a Superman fan, this would not please you. This only pleases you if you're a Trump fan.
Yeah.
There's no Superman fan thinking,
And
oh yeah,
that's
you know,
the
a
other thing.
good fit for
The reason
Superman.
why it's
Trump.
so divided on political lines, by the way, like everything is, but I mean Superman in particular, because Superman is an American icon. That's another thing. It didn't do super well internationally, which they expected. They knew
Yep.
it wasn't going to.
It's like
just
Captain
never,
America, and like
he's never been Superman's never been big overseas and whatnot. You know, so I mean the fact that it did as well as it did in mostly US, you know, territories is pretty fucking good. The fact that it did that dragging along the dead corpse of, you know, fucking Henry Cavill's not I won't say that because that's not his fault.
yeah,
Zack
Henry
Snyder's
Cavill's a good
Superman,
actor. Henry,
you know, then yeah, it's actually a testament to how good this movie was. The word of mouth was extremely positive, still is. Anywhere, you know, but the fact is that they like anything else, we're fighting for, and I hate to sound like a fucking alarmist or like I'm just like, it is a fight for reality at this point, man. Like, and the reality is terms of like IP, popular IP. That's what capitalism has wrought. That's the world we live in. And Superman being a very iconic brand, one of the most iconic, you know, it's like 100% fucking brand saturation across the world, pretty much. Everybody knows what Superman is. You want that on your side. You know, MAGA wants that on its side. So they, you know, are tying it into what, you know, this whole fight with the Warner Brothers sale. It's all kind of interlinked there. And it's just a mess. And that's why I say, if this stuff really matters to you, if you care about all that shit, okay, fine. But if you just want to enjoy Superman as a movie, enjoy Superman as a movie, and then wait for the sequel to come out. That's it. Don't listen to what other people say, and don't worry about whether or not it was a mega success or just a little success.
And I want to go over this because this is insane. This comment. What? Superman was the former's highest grossing superhero movie for decades until the Dark Knight trilogy. Okay, no. So
Spider-Man?
Superman was the highest grossing superhero movie, but there wasn't that many superhero movies, and it was the highest grossing superhero movie until fucking Batman '89. And then
Spider-Man outperformed
and then
that.
Spider-Man came out, and that became the highest grossing one. And then Dark Knight came out. And then Avengers came out, by the way. MCU is still the highest grossing superhero franchise. Just pointing that out.
Yeah, that's just a nonsensical, not based in fact. And that's the thing, man. The people that want this to be true, they're going to say nonsense like this. That is just like, it's easy to debunk that kind of claim. It's just cope. Pure bullshit. Yeah. You know what else is pure bullshit? Chris Ford.
Oh God.
Let me see here. I had a video somewhere. Now I don't know where it went. Never mind, I'll have to find that. But yeah, I had a.
Oh, I didn't even know it was Richard Pace. Hey, Richard Pace, I'm a fan. But yeah, dude, I 100% agree. Like I don't know. I wouldn't say Man of Steel is nonsense. I think it's all right. But yes, James Gunn Superman, fucking loved it. Oh my God, so good.
Yeah, I can't be as charitable for Man of Steel. I did not like it at all. I thought it was yeah.
I kind of appreciate what it was trying for. The problem is it didn't really do it. Like you can tell what it's going for, but just it's kind of missing it. And I think it's because like Chris Nolan was more involved with that, and you know, you can kind of tell.
Yeah.
But like Zack Snyder at the end of the day didn't really understand, was way more interested in just shit looking cool, which is the frustrating truth about Zack Snyder. He just wants shit to look cool. And it's like, can you focus on telling a cool story? Can you focus on how the visuals help your story? You know?
So, has anybody seen One Battle After Another?
Not yet, but the way I'll be honest, I'm not 100% a huge Paul Thomas Anderson fan.
Me either.
But the way people talk about it makes me want to go check it out.
Same. It actually seems like it might be a pretty fun movie.
Yeah.
Well, Chris Gore did see it.
Oh.
Well, let me just say, everyone's saying best movie of the year, best picture, Oscars, all around for the acting. Why don't you let's talk about what the story for Paul Thomas Anderson's One Battle After Another. And quickly, he did Licorice Pizza, was his last movie, which I really loved. It's a simple romance. It's a slice of life in an era, and also it's mostly white people in the movie. Or I'll just say, and I really love.
Did you catch that?
It's pretty hard to me.
White people in the movie. Or I'll just say, and I really love Licorice Pizza. It captured an era in pop culture history, slice of life in an era, and also it's mostly white people in the movie. Or I'll just say, and I really love Licorice Pizza. It captured an era in pop culture history. It was a fun film. Highly recommend it. One Battle After Another is a checkbox of all the things Paul, because his last movie was nominated for a lot of awards. I think it won barely nothing, that movie. And it's almost like One Battle After Another is PTA's make good for making a movie that was way out of touch. This movie is diverse. This movie has political messaging. This movie features protagonists that do bad things, such as they're part of a group. They never say the words Antifa. It might as well be Antifa. The lead guy, Bob Ferguson, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, is a bad guy who makes bombs. He makes bombs.
So, I have not seen the film. However, I do know that it is not Antifa, and it is not actually anything related to Antifa. What it is just a washed up former, revolutionary guy who's no longer that, because it actually the movie, from what I understand, speaks to the failure of leftist revolutions in the U.S. And how that's kind of where Leo's character is whenever we meet him. And then so for Chris Gore to just see Antifa is kind of bizarre, man.
So weird as well to present it like Paul Thomas Anderson normally makes films about stand-up heroic type protagonists. Like the guy who made There Will Be Blood.
Yeah, it was really heroic when he drank that dude's milkshake right up. Fucking awesome hero moment. I'll drink it
So
up.
indeed, any of Paul Thomas Anderson's films, and like you, Bob, I'm not a big fan, but Boogie Nights, they're all pretty complicated and pretty grey.
Yeah.
Magnolia.
Magnolia is probably the one I like the
I understand
most.
that's all. They're kind of like kind of messy people in that as well. It's not clear cut at all.
Oh yeah. No, like he's a filmmaker I appreciate more than I enjoy for the most part. I will admit to enjoying Magnolia, but it's been actually a while since I've seen it. But like,
I think the sound for me, the soundtrack to Magnolia is better than the film, but that's just me.
Boogie Nights, yeah, that's really the one I remember the most.
Boogie Nights.
A bunch of morally upstanding characters in that movie for sure.
Yeah, Boogie Nights is definitely one where I think the first half is like brilliant, and then the second half is like, what the fuck just happened?
And to talk about the political messaging again, he laid it pretty thick with There Will Be Blood.
Oh yeah.
If you can't spot the political message there, then I'm not sure you should be reviewing films.
And I'm wondering if we should really even be listening to this guy. I mean, considering like I feel like that comment, you said it really quickly, but man, what did he fucking say that for? About oh no, mostly white people too.
I can only assume it's a dog whistle, or not even a dog whistle, it's just a whistle.
That's just a whistle. That's just a regular audible whistle.
For his pal, Friday Night Tights.
That's the same thing as Ryan Kinnell's fucking Batman review, basically. It's just complaining that there were, more people that weren't white. I don't know. It's, yeah. Yeah, we're
so apolitical.
We're so apolitical, man, that we don't even talk about, like, who's the president? I don't remember.
Keanu Reeves.
Boogie Nights I used to consider one of my favorites as well. Then I kind of got bored by it the last time I watched it, I think.
I've never, to be perfectly honest, I've never really jibed with Paul Thomas Anderson's style. I liked There Will Be Blood, but I've also got no desire to ever watch it again.
It's one of those movies, yeah. It's kind of like a lot of what's his name? Like Requiem for a Dream is one of those movies where it's like,
ooh,
you can't help but recognize that this is a powerful, and it served the purpose that it clearly was going for. But I don't even see that shit again.
Plus, for me, There Will Be Blood really is it's a one-man show. It's the Daniel Day-Lewis show.
Mm-hmm.
As good as like Paul Dano is in that, it's all about.
It helps the fact that he's got a racist dog. He's got to use that whistle.
I was just gonna say with There Will Be Blood. Like honestly, like that was the movie that made me kind of not like Paul Dano, and it wasn't until Love and Mercy where I was like, you know what, I'm turning around on him.
Did you see Swiss Army Man?
God, yes, it's been a while. Yes,
because that's Paul Dano being great there, in my opinion. But really, he's kind of this show is stolen by Daniel Radcliffe and his farting corpse, though. So.
A friendship that will last throughout all time.
Yeah, for sure.
Paul Dano, always upstaged by a Daniel.
Yep. So there's that. That's just really, really fucking bizarre. I mean, not bizarre, man. We've all known that that's the direction Chris Gore was going, but we've seen him kind of like get more and more open with it, I think.
Well, yeah, to pretend that he's a legitimate film critic when he talks about the first thing he talks about is how a lot of people are praising the performances, but let's talk about the story, and then proceeds to not talk about the story, but instead talks about the political message.
Well, I think
what did he think of the performances?
I think it's fair to say once he's brought up Disney Sparkle that he's not a film critic anymore.
You would know that's not what you said in the first place, man. Don't try and retro. We can go back and look. What you said was it was the highest performing franchise. And if you want to fucking take up the bat for fucking Superman 4, go for it, buddy. But I'm pretty sure it did not do very well. And then it's just absurd. Like, is it the highest grossing? That might be true. Maybe you're right about that, but that's not what you said in the first place.
It's not higher grossing as Spider-Man. I'll tell you that.
It's not higher grossing than Batman.
Right. I'm
pretty sure it isn't either. I haven't double checked Batman, but I was pretty confident on that, even without the double checking.
Anyway, in the comments here, somebody says, bro, they are not beating the racism allegations.
So Superman 1978 made $300 million.
300 million, huh?
It was very good for the time period.
Yeah.
Batman 1989, 411.
Which one of those is higher number? I don't know. I can't figure that out.
4, 3.
Superman was the highest grossing one, right?
Yeah, Superman.
Yeah.
So even if we give that he changed his original position from highest grossing franchise until The Dark Knight to highest grossing superhero film until the 2000s, it's still inaccurate.
Yeah, that sounds like just a cope of somebody that really doesn't like Marvel at all and wants to.
Oh, it's changed again. Superman was the former highest grossing superhero for decades. One decade.
I'm going to go back up and I'm going to highlight your previous comments, man. I'm going to do it. You're forcing me to do it. All right.
Okay, so...
Was the highest grossing film for one decade between 1977 and 1987 when no other superhero film was released, apart from Superman sequels. So yeah.
Superman made $300 million. Batman made $411. The original Spider-Man made $826 million.
So the Dark Knight,
which is a higher number.
Dark Knight trilogy ended in 2012. Okay, so if you're saying Dark Knight trilogy, that means we're going all the way to 2012. You still want to stand by this first comment? Because I think you recognize that you kind of said a silly thing here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, me too, man.
Right. I mean, dude, like, if you want, you're welcome to just admit that you misspoke. Because if you just said you misspoke, then it'd be like, okay, yeah, I got you. Yeah, it was highest grossing movie for a little bit, yes, but
like whenever you start trying to triple down on that, that's where you start wondering what your agenda is to be saying this. You know what I mean?
The point that we made before is that box office doesn't determine success. So none of us are saying that Superman 77 is a bad film.
Right.
Richard Donner's Superman is an excellent film.
Mm-hmm.
We're just talking about the raw numbers.
Well, you don't want to get my opinions on that film,
dude. You want to see the biggest movie ever? Like, this movie made so much bank. Oh, dude, so successsul.
And the horrible thing about that
I
is
watched that movie and it felt like it was like 3 hours long when I saw it.
It's like the shortest one by far, too.
the budget for the first film in 1977 was $55 million. 10 years later, and they've cut it by a third, and they were still expecting it to make money. That's crazy. But then it was, I mean, it says domestic distributor Warner Brothers, but wasn't that one of the ones made by like
Canon?
No, this was Canon.
Yeah.
It was sold to Canon at that point. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess they probably still had a distribution with Warner Brothers, but
Yeah,
sure.
Only made by them. I guess Eric is on a secret mission. I don't know. He said he had.
No, I'm here.
Oh,
I'm here. I just been quiet.
Yeah.
Well,
always listening.
Oh, shit, man. What's going on? Got the debunker in chief here, not debunking.
No. I stepped away for a minute, but I came back and we were talking about like all the stuff here with the budget for Superman and stuff. I just wanted to let you guys finish because I didn't realize what had happened before I came back.
So, dude, you're doubling down though. We've already established Batman outperformed Superman 10 years later. So no,
he's talking.
No,
the totality of box office doesn't mean a lot whenever you're including a movie like Superman 4, which made $17 million. And then if you're including the literal Spider-Man trilogy, which fucking made bank, every single one of those movies made fucking bank.
Way more bank than I think possibly any Superman movie.
Yeah, no getting around it. It's not even a hill you need to die on, man. It's fine. We'll just leave it alone.
It's one of those things. I don't know why you're doubling down on it. You could just say, I wasn't thinking. You guys are right, and then it's over.
Probably somewhat true, just because it was rated R. And yeah.
I mean, I just looked. Are we talking about Batman and Superman films prior to 2000?
Yeah, we had a claim saying that the original Superman was the highest grossing superhero movie until the Dark Knight trilogy.
The original Superman, the first Superman movie.
Yeah.
So he said it was the grossing character until the Dark Knight trilogy, is what he said.
Character. That's false.
Yeah,
That's
I
false.
mean,
I'm looking right now. The Batman movies up until 2000 grossed over 400 million worldwide, and the Superman movies only did 300. So even if you look at the 2000, it's still wrong. Sorry, it's just inaccurate. It's incorrect.
Yeah. No, I didn't even look at the numbers. I was pretty confident in Batman, but I did end up looking it up as conversation went on. I was like, yeah, no, it definitely outperformed it. That's not even talk about Spider-Man.
Well, Spider-Man's the number one character in the world easily by a land, like about a mile. But Batman's still the second. Superman is the third, and Batman isn't even close to Spider-Man. So, in terms of overall profit and sales.
I mean, I wouldn't expect Logan to have done as well as like the X-Men films. Just because it was, I don't think they expected it either with a rated R film. But I think it did pretty well considering, right? Like that was greenlit on the back.
It's a well-respected movie, if nothing else.
On the back of Deadpool's success, though, they were like, "Well, we'll do this."
Mice have ears.
It was over 600 million pre-2000. Except, hold on, man. When did the fucking Dark Knight trilogy come out, dude? You want me to fucking bring it up again? You're pissing me off at this point because you're just trying to fucking gaslight yourself.
I don't know why you're continuing down this.
I'm looking at the Wikipedia numbers here. It's telling me that the Batman or the Superman franchise, right, prior to 2000, and the Batman franchise prior to 2000, that Batman is the highest grosser between those two franchises. You just add the numbers up, man.
I mean,
it's really not that difficult.
So I just brought up Superman 4. Now we can compare that to Batman 4. They're both shit movies, but hey, look at that number. That's a lot fucking bigger. I'm just saying.
I've just quickly done the maths here, and the first 4 Batman films, that's Batman 89 to Batman and Robin, made 1.2 billion worldwide. The first Superman, the first 4 Superman films made about 6, and you can add Supergirl into that. It doesn't make much difference. So the first Superman made 300, then 190, so that's 500, and 80, so that's about just under 6, and then 36. So we're looking at about 600 million, and the original Batman 4 films made 1.2 billion between the 4 of them.
Yeah.
So by any metric that you want to measure it, other than saying as I said, that Superman was the highest grossing superhero film until 1989. So for that 12-year period when they weren't making superhero films.
Yeah, there's almost no superhero movies in that gap, but yes.
It's number one for sure. I mean, we'll give you that. But that's not what you said, man. I get being surprised to learn that Superman was not as successful as you might have thought it was. That's not understandable. And then you made a claim initially that was just kind of based on nothing. You just kind of threw out some words. And then you started kind of retroactively trying to spin your wheels and change. There's no reason to do that. All right. It's fine. We're not like judging you for being wrong. We're judging you for now tripling.
I mean, we're kind of judging you for not, admitting that. Oh yeah, I wasn't thinking about that.
So you guys heard about what I'm just going to propose something. I really hope everybody will kind of take this and run with it. You know, the ballroom that Trump is currently demolishing the east wing of the White House to build. Gaudy thing. I think we need to just call that the Epstein Ballroom.
Oh yeah.
Works.
By the way, guys, make sure to like, subscribe, visit all the channels, and release the Epstein files.
Right. And then I've got right here just a quick look at the reason why we should want this stuff released. In case anybody's forgotten, it's not just a political football. It's not just like because it'll help our team win.
Just downloading music.
Huh? Is that what you say?
He was talking to somebody in real life.
So this is from upcoming memoir by now no longer with us. Sadly took her own life. Virginia Giuffre, I guess you say that. One of the outspoken victims of Epstein. Content warning. But in her memoir, Nobody's Girl, released after her death, she repeats claims she had sex with Prince Andrew, on 3 separate occasions, including an orgy on Jeffrey Epstein's private island with 8 other girls. The other girls all appeared to be under age of 18, didn't really speak English. Epstein laughed about how they couldn't really communicate, saying they were the easiest girls to get along with. After the orgy, she says she had irregular bleeding and abdominal pain. Epstein took her to the hospital, but she couldn't recall what happened due to the pain medication. She left with a scar near her belly button, which other girls suggested was surgery for an ectopic pregnancy. From what I understand, that does seem like that would be what that is. But she says, Epstein told me I'd suffered a miscarriage. He never wore a condom. Neither did the men he and Ghislaine Maxwell trafficked me to. Describes sex with Epstein as sadomasochistic, as he began experimenting with whips, restraints, and other instruments of torture, forcing her to play victim in his violent fantasies. The abuse left her with dark circles under her eyes and her ribs visible beneath her skin, but Epstein only expressed feelings of disgust, coldly telling her, "You're not the same girl you were. You need to clean yourself up." On the record, she talks about seeing this image that kind of went around that got the spotlight on Prince Andrew, where this is post his Epstein's original, indictment and for child stuff. Just being surprised at the nerve of Prince Andrew to be seen in public with this guy after that. You know what I mean? Because this is actually what sparked her wanting to seek some kind of justice. Yeah, there you go. There's more to it. It's just kind of a stark reminder that these are real women that this happened to. Actually, there were real girls that it happened to. In some cases, they're no longer with us. And almost certainly because of complications due to that, and the kind of trauma that they endured. And this, this is about Trump. It's about Epstein. It's about like right and wrong. It's about all that stuff. But like, as a father to a daughter, I think it's important that we are able to make sure that it's clear that girls should not be victimized. I know that's a fucking hot take, right? But like, this should not be a world where girls have to worry about this kind of thing to this degree or at all. And it needs to be clear that just as a normal thing, like the normal process of society is that whenever something like this does come up, that it's fucking handled the way that it should be handled. Because otherwise it's just man, what a fucking world we've made. Mm-hmm. But anyway,
they're I know we don't hear about them because it's very difficult, but the reason we don't hear about the victims is several reasons. One is a lot of them will never speak out about what happened to them because they can't physically go through that. I would say a lot of them are probably no longer with us for various different reasons. A lot of them, as in that quote there, didn't speak English and probably were taken out of the country as soon as they were brought in, and they will never get their voices heard. So many of them will never get their voices heard, including ones now because he's dead. He will never be punished for, and so any case brought against him, it can't happen. So why bother going public with this when the kind of things that people will do to the victims in public are so horrific in order to downplay it? So there's so many unheard victims in this. Yeah. It's sickening. It is absolutely sickening.
Zap, I wish I had a drop of the Dumb and Dumber scene where he's like, and then you go and do something like this and totally redeem yourself. But
yeah, don't take it personally, all the Superman shit, but because this is the important stuff.
Right. And yeah, it's man, it's upsetting because for one thing, MAGA Mike Johnson, by the way, who is almost entirely responsible for the shutdown that we're now in day 22 of, 23, 22, something like that. And only because he's under instruction from the president, of course, but he's refusing to bring the government back into session because of the fact, partly, that he doesn't want to swear in this new lawmaker who will be
the tie-breaking vote to release the Epstein files. Yeah,
he is enabling abuse.
Mike Johnson, by the way, whenever they did have a contingent of some of these women that have been very brave in speaking out about this stuff lately. They went to DC and they had a meeting, and he sat there in the meeting along with several others who were still, stonewalling the whole thing. Listened to them talk about their experiences, and then left that and said, "Yeah, I'm going to do what I can to make sure that doesn't come out." So these are legitimately evil people. Yeah.
So currently at 22 days, this is the second longest government shutdown in U.S. history. 35 days is the longest.
You've given yourself away now, man. We know that you're fucking.
Well, dude, with a name like that, he's full of shit. Like, there's no.
Well, what's sad is that for the first few times this guy showed up saying this stuff, I was actually not sure. I was like, "Oh, are you serious? This could actually be an Eric's Live fan." This is the one that gives it away right here. We literally haven't watched it today. Salute to you though, man. That's you've I need to clip that last week's moment too, because that was some good stuff.
Hey, just I'm not saying your name, but Eric, if you want to debate again sometime, we can debate again. It's okay.
Rip over his goalpost disappeared. That account is a dead account.
Oh God, yeah.
Kind of bizarre, huh? Like,
hasn't posted since May of this year.
I know there's probably never going to be a way for us to find out what the real situation was there, but I'd really love to know. Just like I don't know, some rip of send employee or something that blows a whistle. I don't know, but yeah.
The number of people the random accounts that just simp for Eric July, it's kind of hilarious, and it really does make me assume that it's got to be Eric, right? At least a handful of them have got to be Eric.
I would put money on that being, if not solely operated by him, the rip versus goalpost, that like very much in direct coordination with him. It just seems impossible that it's not the case.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can't help speculate if it was the Soska sisters doing an audition.
What's going on for a little bit way before they came into the picture, I think. So
that's what I mean. Perhaps they were trying to endear themselves, and so started their own little channel, and then went to Eric and said, "What we've been doing for you."
We've identified that he's not actually that. If he's somebody that he's legit, if he's sincere, he's kind of too unwell for us to attack this way. So we can just kind of let him be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's Chuck Dixon.
Chuck Dixon. Oh my God.
Well, what else is he doing besides, I guess, getting mad about, Batman beating up ISO.
I mean, there's no good way on your resume to be like, oh yeah, I used to write Nightwing, now I write Horseman. There's no way that is
he used to
anywhere
write
but
Batman.
downward
I mean,
trajectory.
Nightwing, yeah, but he used to write Batman, dude. It's so fucking.
Yeah.
He wrote a lot. Like, I think he's probably the most prolific Batman writer in Batman history, maybe.
Might be.
He was writing a lot in the 90s.
I mean, it was his run that got me into Nightwing, and yeah.
You know what's
Thank God, much better writers have carried on the torch since.
That's true. When we were talking about the Chud's talking about how political everything that is or whatever. Now it's like that's kind of in large part their fault because of what they decided to start calling political, right? Like it was really bizarre to me when I first started paying attention to this stuff to see people referring to just a gay person as political. You know what I mean? Or whatever. It's like, wait, what? It took me a while to understand. Oh, you're in some kind of sauce. It's a very specific mixture of sauce that's got you seeing this as purely a political thing, even though a straight person isn't political, but a gay person is.
Well, I mean, part of the issue is that they want to argue, hey, keep politics out of art. But the problem is they've literally made everything political. Gay people existing is political. Trans people existing is political. It's like, these are just people existing, and you want to make it political? Are you fucking insane? Are you?
I might have to go here in a minute to handle something, but.
Well, is there anything else we want to cover? I think
I don't have anything else.
I wanted to make fun of Cosmic Book News.
Yeah.
I do plan. I don't have a specific time. It might be around 9ish. I'm gonna try to do a comic book stream and maybe cover a little bit of Chuds. I want to try to get done before Eric's stream, and I might jump into Eric's stream. Just FYI, Eric. But that'll be tomorrow night. But I'll try to get something.
Wait, is somebody in the comments trying to say that Ryan is trans? I'm reading the comment up there now. Trans person at the bottom left. We know you're a female.
Actual facts person, but under a bot.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah,
I think they were here last week trying to bait us into nonsense.
Oh, we've got like a delusional person in chat. I see.
Yeah. The crazies always pop on and around about this time.
We don't want to be part of your cult.
I feel like they get off work and they rush home to like try and troll our stream.
Yeah, it does tend to happen like right around the same time, right? Like,
yeah.
Yep. And it's always just this kind of like I don't even want to put it on screen, but it is pretty funny. It's just trying to, like I was saying earlier, they just say things and they want to will it to be true. Like, we won, we're winning, you're crying, we're winning, I swear we're winning, you're crying.
If you've won, go out and enjoy the spoils of your victory.
Right. Imagine winning so much that you can't even handle when other people are like, don't recognize you're winning. It's a real insecurity problem that you got there. Whenever in the past in my life, I've won a few things here and there. When I've won those things, I don't really tend to worry about people saying otherwise. I'm too busy just basking in that winning glow that you certainly must have now because you've won. But did you know Geeks and Gamers 2? He's got a channel that.
God. Geeks and Gamers 1 is dead, and then Geeks and Gamers 2, I think it's more active, which is like why?
Well, probably because it's just not as I don't know. It's because I don't know. Maybe he just recognized it was a dead channel.
Geeks and Gamers 2 used to be Geeks and Gamers Girls. They rebranded it.
Oh.
If you look at their live streams from Geeks and Gamers 2, it used to be a girls channel. It was like a pink version of Geeks and Gamers logo. Yeah.
So it's trans now? What does that mean?
I assume it means.
I guess so. Yeah.
I assume it means they tried to get girls interested, but now they can only get 2 people interested.
And also, it's not doing well views wise. It's getting about the same amount of views as a channel about half its size. I guess is the best way to put it. I think it was like 60 or 70,000 subscribers when I looked.
All right, Bob of the Old Ways has a new video out that you should check out. It is about is it part of the new mythology series, Bob? I forget. I've not watched it yet, but I would recommend it because I know what it's about. And I know what, generally what the vibe and what the theme is, and it sounds awesome. So I will watch.
Had a new one come out a few days ago as well, which is as good as you would expect from our good friend Pillar. This is about AI, and his dog makes an appearance as well. So
it's very unprofessional to have your pet making an appearance in one of your videos. What the hell?
Who's the trans woman? Morgan GN.
Who is Morgan GN? Do they mean GM Morgan?
I mean, are you a chaser? Are you trying to hook up with
Yeah.
Like, why is this? I mean, and honestly,
you seem to be like really
if one of us is
focused in on
trans and
this.
you don't know which one it is. Look, we're doing something right. You know what I'm saying?
this person was Caitlin, and now they're Earlville. I mean, someone's definitely rejecting me. They've changed from the female name to a man's name. Maybe take a look in the mirror, buddy.
All trans women, you should get more men on the Shillcast.
Right.
That's true. We're not diverse enough now.
Yeah, we really become kind of an echo chamber, kind of like what Geeks and Gamers is working on over there.
Yeah.
I did want to point out that I think it's objectively hilarious and awesome. And I hate to say this because Newsom is not my preferred guy, but the fact that he called the National Guard to come help out with food drives and stuff like that in California, it's pretty epic kind of turn of events. So I hope he keeps that.
Dude, it does frustrate me because he'll do like a base thing here or there, and then he has like a thoughtful conversation with fucking Steve Bannon or some piece of shit like that, and it's like, fuck.
Well, he's a politician, and he will, in the truest sense of the word, and so
yeah.
Pillar of Garbage decided that he just decided, like, he just doesn't want to let those of us with an edge, like myself, Eric, Bob, Ryan, that actually were showing our faces in videos. The only thing we had going for us. And then he's like, no, I can't have that. And so now he's put his what is it? Fucking Joseph Gordon-Levitt looking ass in his video.
There you go. There you go. I was like, Jared Leto, you.
Or was he so inspired by us regularly showing our faces that?
Yeah, I think that you said it in Discord, Ryan. This is what I agree with. That he didn't want people to judge him for the wrong reason. So he was making sure that his intellect and his thoughtfulness and everything came first, and then he would show everybody that he's essentially an Adonis. So all right, you guys are cool and fun, and I'm glad that we're all trans women together.
Trans solidarity.
The beard is a dead giveaway.
Yes.
Yeah, anybody promoting something? I gotta get out of here. I gotta go grab something.
I did a video on Mauler, Nerdrotic, and As. They just went up earlier today.
Oh, nice. I have my Superman versus Man of Steel video. It's doing all right, but could definitely do better. Yeah, I'm planning to probably do more videos like that, probably once a month or something like that, because they are still a bit of work. But yeah.
Yeah, that one's up, and then I've got a couple of videos on my Reloaded channel as well. A couple of live streams. I'm very busy. I have a lot of stuff, so just go check out my channels.
Yep. I am currently dealing with some stuff as far as medication, having a lapse in that. So hopefully, I'm really wanting to get into making videos again. I've got several ideas for videos that I want to do. One of them in particular is actually about Eric July, so maybe factual facts there would have something to because I really want to point out how Eric July has just like broken every single rule that he's claimed to be against. You know what I mean? Like all the token and legacy and all that stuff, because once again, Isom is a legacy character, that kind of thing. I just think it would be great to have all that collected into one video just to show how he, yeah. Sorry, I'm a bit distracted.
But these guys have never been hypocrites. So I don't know what you could bring off of.
Oh, well, good luck to you, man. You're gonna have some fun responses for sure. They literally
EFAP fans are very reasonable.
Yep. Just thank them for their patronage and their engagement, because otherwise you're just going to be there forever. And I can't wait to find out what the one thing that they're going to latch onto about you is, because everybody's got one. Anybody that criticizes them, they find the one thing that they're going to latch onto, and they will never shut up about that thing. And that will be the thing they use to discredit everything you do for the rest of eternity. So
I think bad faith is their go-to.
It is.
Woo! Bad faith criticism.
Are you a talentless YouTuber pretending to be an expert?
Do you have a tantrum when you're criticized for being totally full of shit?
Then the excuse you need is bad faith criticism.